Chapter 1540. The Call of the Head. Qin Yin closed the lid. After the pill transformation, Heavenly Furnace recognized its master with a drop of blood. The lid became very light. Qin Yin pressed his hand on the lid and activated the pill transformation Heavenly Furnace. After activating it, he immediately felt the energy in his body fiercely flowing out. As soon as the nether moon returned to his body, it immediately released a large amount of mental power. Qin Yin is alarmed because the power of nether sun and nether moon has been absorbed. This pill transformation Heavenly Furnace really consumed a lot of energy. Xiao Yun, when will we stop? Ling Yuner asked. I don't know. Qin Yin shook his head. Could it be that I have to wait for the pill to be refined? Qin Yun and Ling Yuner are looking forward to seeing what would happen after the large amount of instant void immortal iron ores are refined by the pill transformation Heavenly Furnace. Now, Qin Yun's mental power was unable to probe the situation inside. He could only wait for the pill transformation Heavenly Furnace to stop by itself. If this continues, I will be hollowed out. Qin Yun pressed his hands on the lid, feeling that he is showing signs of collapse. The speed at which the pill transformation Heavenly Cauldron extracted energy was so fast that Qin Yun found it unbearable. It should be able to stop, right? Ling Yuner said. Sure. Qin Yun retracted his hand and said with a long sigh. After consuming so much of my power, if I had directly used the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron to refine, I would have already refined a large amount of immortal iron. Ling Yuner laughed. Now we are concocting pills, refining instant void immortal iron into a pill. This is very strong. It might even be able to raise the quality of instant space immortal iron. The instant space immortal metal's quality continues to rise. Could it be that it will become instant space sacred iron? Qin Yun said with a smile. If that's really the case, then it's not a loss. It seems that this Dan transformation Heavenly Furnace is very useful. Not only can it refine medicinal herbs into pills, it can also refine various materials into pills. Ling Yuner laughed. The process of alchemy was to maximize the quality of a medicinal ingredient. When all sorts of medicinal ingredients were combined together to form a pill, the value would be far higher than the medicinal ingredients themselves. If those refining materials were turned into pills, the quality would definitely improve a lot. Qin Yin was resting and quickly recovering his energy. He rested for half a day, and after he recovered, he continued to press his hands on the lid of the pill-melting Heavenly Furnace. Xiao Yun, you can ask little Yin Yun for help. Ling Yuner said again. That's right. Qin Yun immediately went to the first floor and brought Xian Yin Yun up. Little Yin Yun, place your hands on the lid. Qin Yun said. He is not touching the pill transformation Heavenly Furnace. After Xian Yin Yun placed her hand on it, she looked at Qin Yun with her beautiful and gentle eyes and asked curiously, Big brother, what is this water jar for? Qin Yun found it somewhat odd because the pill transformation Heavenly Furnace did not absorb the energy within Xian Yin Yun's body. However, when he pressed his hands on the lid, Xian Yin Yun exclaimed, Big brother, my immortal power is draining very quickly. Little Yin Yun, this is the pill transformation Heavenly Furnace. Big brother is refining pills. Qin Yun said with a smile. I need your immortal power to help me. Don't mind me. It's fine as long as I can help Big brother. Xian Yin Yun smiled sweetly and said, Great. I will also participate in alchemy. Qin Yun nodded and said with smile, Little Yin Yun, I will bring you to the immortal desolate in the future. I will bring you to my divine inscription mountain. There are many fruits growing inside. They are very delicious. Moreover, Yuemei is also on the mountain. I really want to go out quickly. I want to see Yuemei. I really like her. Just from hearing the legends about her, I feel that she is very awesome. Xian Yin Yun is very much looking forward to it. She very happily smiled and said, When the time comes, I can also use those fruits to refine pills. Qin Yun said with a smile. If not for obtaining that head, he might have immediately brought Xian Yin Yun out. With Xian Yin Yun's help, the pill transformation Heavenly Furnace absorbed enough energy and finally stopped absorbing. Qin Yun now knows that he needs to touch the pill transformation heavenly furnace himself to start absorbing energy. Are you done? Xian Yun asked. Big brother, what pill did you refine? I put a lot of instant void immortal iron ore inside. Qin Yun said with a smile. Can instant void immortal iron be eaten? Xian Yun is very astonished. Her small mouth is slightly open. Of course not. Qin Yun gently caressed Xian Yun's astonished face and said with mischievous smile, I will open it now and take a look. Qin Yun opened the lid and saw a fist-sized pearl inside. It is golden red in color. So this is a pill? It's so big, Xian Yun said in astonishment. Can it be eaten? It's turned into a pill, but it's not an ordinary pill. Qin Yun picked up the golden red pearl and said with a smile, Is this instant void immortal iron or instant void sacred iron? Is it heavy? Xian Yun asked. Not very heavy. Qin Yun handed over the golden red pearl. After Xian Yun received it, she said with a frown, It seems to be less than a gene. Qin Yun nodded his head. The ore I put in was given by Niu Tianquan. He said that he could refine 5 to 600 gene of instant void immortal iron. But now that it has been refined into this pearl, it is only a gene. If the quality has increased, then it should also be very heavy. At this moment, Xian Yun injected her immortal power into the pearl, only to see the pearl suddenly release a burst of spatial fluctuation. Qin Yun is extremely alarmed. Xian Yun said in pleasant surprise, Big brother, very awesome. I didn't inject a lot of immortal power, but the spatial fluctuation produced is very great. Qin Yun suddenly thought of something. If this pearl is used to refine a teleportation magic tool, it can definitely be used many times. It will definitely be better than teleportation talismans. And it seems like this pill transformation heavenly furnace is indeed a good thing. Qin Yun said with smile, Little Yun, maybe this can replace teleportation talismans in the future and allow us to teleport everywhere in the immortal desolate. Qin Yun plans to ask Xiao Hua about the method to contact the space god after meeting him. He wants to contact the space god. For the space god, he is most familiar with the usage of space. If he can learn even a little bit, he will be able to move freely in the vast immortal desolate. Little Yun, you consumed a lot of energy just now. Rest well, Qin Yun said with smile, and then took out of bed. Xia and Yun nodded her head, then lied down on the bed and properly rested. Qin Yun is also sitting on a chair. While resting, he is also looking at the situation inside the small bottle. The small bottle has absorbed a large amount of great dragon blood and is currently fusing with the beast oil. Yuner, do you think that after the great dragon blood fuses with the beast oil, it will become stronger? When the time comes, I can put the liquid inside into the pill transformation heavenly furnace and refine it into artillery shells or something. Qin Yun thought of this combination and said excitedly, We could give it a try. Ling Yuner said with smile, Xiao Yun, the speed of fusion inside the small bottle is very slow. It should require a lot of energy to support it. Energy? Qin Yun cannot find any energy at all. When you destroyed the evil dragon mountain, didn't you obtain its pure energy source? Ling Yuner said with mischievous smile, Put the evil dragon mountain's energy source inside the small bottle. Maybe you can create an even stronger liquid. Qin Yun immediately did as told. The evil dragon mountain's energy source is very strong. After he put it inside the small bottle, it immediately sank into the liquid. And now the small bottle is slightly shaking. It seems like it is refining the energy source. Qin Yun looked at the large water jar like pill transformation heavenly furnace and felt very satisfied in his heart. Because compared to the little black donkey from before, this is a good thing. Xian Yun and Qin Yun rested for less than half a day and recovered. The two of them walked out of the floating cloud pagoda. Although the sky is covered by gloomy evil energy, it is now noon. The sun is very strong, and the light has become even brighter. Qin Yun stored the floating cloud pagoda and looked at the distant Hua Tonggan. When Hua Tonggan saw Qin Yun come out, he immediately flew over. Senior, A group of people entered the Death Mountain evil forest earlier. Hua Tonggan said, I suspect that they are from the Xie Yang race. Oh, did you see them? Qin Yun asked. I didn't see them. They have a lot of people. I didn't go over because I was afraid of alerting them. Hua Tonggan said. They looked very anxious. They directly rushed in. Could it be that they made a great discovery? Qin Yun took out a small golden statue. It is precisely his small statue, the sun god's divine position. He took this divine position and wanted to see if he could attract the attention of the immortal, desolate, sacred master's head inside. Senior, when are we going in? Hua Tonggan asked. No rush. It's full of danger inside. No matter how strong the Xie Yang race is, it won't be that easy to find that head. Qin Yun looked at the small statue in his hand. He waited for a while, but there was no reaction. He continued to wait. After a short while, the small statue suddenly moved. A very faintly discernible voice suddenly appeared in Qin Yun's mind. The voice is very weak, very weak. I'm here. I'm here. After Qin Yun heard that voice, he also had a very accurate direction. It is as if he knew very well where the voice came from. He can now understand the feeling of Xie Yun being called by Xie Kiru. Over there, I'll follow the stream. Qin Yun said. The stream is already dried up, but it can still be recognized. All right. Hua Tonggan nodded and said, I now have the armor and weapons Senior gave me. If I encounter those monkeys again, I will definitely be able to deal with them. Let's go in, Qin Yun said, then pulled Xian Yun and walked towards the stream. I'll lead the way. Hua Tonggan held his large saber and quickly walked in front. Hua Tonggan, where did the Xie Yang race people enter from? Qin Yun asked. Not from the stream, from another direction. Hua Tonggan pointed with his saber. That's good. I don't want to encounter them for now. Qin Yun nodded and said, in a dangerous place like the Death Mountain Evil Forest, it's better to be quiet. Hua Tonggan came in this time with full confidence. On one hand, he has become a golden immortal and cultivated the great dragon golden body. On the other hand, he has Saint tier equipment. The Death Mountain Evil Forest is filled with dense fog. From time to time, a cold wind would blow over. Qin Yun held the floating cloud rod in his hand and tightly held Xian Yun's hand. Xian Yun is not afraid at all. She held the sword hilt and paid attention to her surroundings. After entering for less than half a day, they suddenly heard a burst of screams. Chapter 1541. 1541 Chapter 1541 Evil for a strange monkey. The sharp monkey cry came from afar, but it is very penetrating. Even though it is quite far away, the sharp sound still makes people's hair stand on end. Furthermore, the sound seems to come from all directions, giving people a feeling of being surrounded, causing them to feel inexplicably nervous and depressed. How strong is that strange monkey? Qin Yun asked. If it is alone, what is its cultivation? Alone? Hua Tonggan frowned and shook his head. I don't know, it's hard to say. Back then, I was only toyed with by a dozen or so monkeys and was almost tormented to death. The other monkeys did not participate. Little Yin Yun, you must be careful. Qin Yun said, I can feel the aura of that monkey. There's a very strong sacred power on its body. Could it be that it has cultivated a sacred body? Senior, that strange monkey seems to rely on the power of its body. Its body has a very strong, sacred power. Hua Tonggan said again. Xian Yun said in a low voice, Big brother, there are so many trees here. The monkeys must be very agile here, right? Qin Yun used the floating cloud rod to hit a big tree and said in surprise, The trees here are very sturdy. Hua Tonggan also chopped at the tree trunk. The blade left a cut on the tree trunk, but it did not cut the tree trunk. Instead, the cut quickly healed. It is indeed very sturdy. Why didn't I discover it before? Hua Tonggan is very surprised. What is going on with this Dead Mountain Evil Forest? Why can it give birth to such a sturdy tree trunk? Qin Yun pressed his hand on the tree. He wanted to release his mental power to enter the tree to investigate the trees here. However, after his mental power entered the tree trunk, he suddenly felt a resistance. His mental power was unable to advance. So strange. Qin Yun muttered and released the needle spirit inside the nether moon. Under Qin Yun's control, the needle spirit entered the tree trunk. Although the needle spirit has a very strong mental power and can pass through the tree trunk, the resistance inside the tree trunk is getting stronger and stronger. Not long after, Qin Yun's needle spirit was unknowingly forced out of the tree trunk and returned to Qin Yun's mental nether moon. "What's going on?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "Dead Mountain Evil Forest is really not simple. Xian Yun Yun is the same as Qin Yun. She used her mental power to infiltrate the tree, but was blocked by a strong resistance. She failed. The trees here give me the feeling of a person. The stronger the mental power, the stronger the resistance they can release." Xian Yun Yun said. Qin Yun nodded and said, "It's not just a single tree, right?" After that, he tried several trees, and the results are the same. There is a very strong force inside that could resist the penetration of mental power. Originally, Qin Yun wanted to investigate the internal structure of the tree to see why it was so sturdy. However, he was unable to proceed smoothly. However, he also discovered that the trees here were very strange. Hua Tongin said in a low voice, "Those monkeys are all shouting. They did not come over. But if we continue to go in, we will definitely be surrounded by those monkeys. Let's continue forward." Qin Yun looked at the dried-up creek and said, "According to my investigation, that mysterious head is at the source of this creek. If that's the case, then there must be a lot of things blocking the way." Hua Tongin tightly gripped his saber, increased his speed, and walked along the dried-up creek. Qin Yun said, "Hua Tongin, if you can't beat those monkeys, remember not to force yourself. Senior, what about you and the little girl? I have to protect you." Hua Tongin shook his head and said, "I can't ignore you. Don't worry about that." Qin Yun smiled and said, "We'll talk about it when the time comes. We're not weak. If we really can't handle it, we can cooperate and break out of the encirclement." "Got it." Hua Tongin nodded and then quickened his pace. Hua Tongin cultivated the great dragon golden body. His body is even stronger, so he felt that no matter how powerful those monkeys are, they can't destroy his body. And what Qin Yun is worried about is that those monkeys will use very strong mental power attacks. Hua Tongin's weakness is his soul and mental power. As long as he encounters a very strong mental power attack, he will not be able to resist. Ling Yun suddenly said, "Xiao Yun, I guess that this Dead Mountain Evil Forest is a hole." "Oh, what do you mean?" Qin Yun thought for a moment. He doesn't understand what Ling Yun means. Those trees should be connected to the entire Dead Mountain Evil Forest. In other words, the trees are equivalent to a part of the Dead Mountain Evil Forest, just like your hands and feet. Ling Yun said again. "So when I use very strong mental power to investigate, the Dead Mountain Evil Forest concentrates even stronger power on that tree to prevent me from investigating?" Qin Yun said in amazement. "That's right. You use your powerful mental power to release the soul of the needle, but you couldn't enter the inside of a big tree. This must be the combined power of the entire Dead Mountain Evil Forest to resist." Ling Yun said, "Every tree is like this." Qin Yun finally understood and said, "In that case, this Death Mountain Evil Jungle is alive. It can't be considered alive. It should have its own consciousness. When attacked, it can defend itself." Ling Yun said, "If you use powerful mental power to investigate, it will trigger the Dead Mountain Evil Forest self-defense consciousness." As Qin Yun thought, he followed behind Hua Tongin. "He is very doubtful. In my previous life, I searched for many years in the Great Dragon Desolate Domain, but I couldn't find that head, and this Dead Mountain Evil Forest only appeared later. The head of the immortal, desolate, sacred master is inside." Ling Yun said with smile, "If my guess is not wrong, this Dead Mountain Evil Forest was created by that head. Its purpose is to protect itself. The Dead Mountain Evil Forest is very terrifying. There are many legends in the past. Many powerful golden immortals died here after entering. Although Hua Tongin came here a few times before, he did not go deep. In other words, the stone table with the picture on it was dug out from one of the mountains here. At that time, this was not the Dead Mountain Evil Forest. Qin Yin said in his heart. Suddenly, the strange monkey's voice became even sharper, as if it was about to arrive. "It's here," Hua Tongin shouted in alarm. This time the strange monkey has become even stronger. Xian Yinyun cried out in alarm. "Big brother, be careful of those trees. The strange monkey is inside the trees." She released a very strong golden immortal power to form a barrier to protect herself. Qin Yun is extremely alarmed. He originally thought that the monkeys would swing over from the branches of the big tree. He did not expect that they would be able to transfer through the tree trunk. This is a spatial movement method. Ho! Qin Yin felt a gust of wind suddenly rush over from the tree beside him. It is a black monkey. It quickly jumped out of the tree trunk. Its body burst out with a very strong momentum. Scram! Qin Yun roared loudly. His body released a shockwave. The shockwave is very fierce, like layer upon layer of waves. It shook all the monkeys that were flying over from all directions and caused them to fall down. The long rod in Qin Yun's hand fiercely smashed towards the monkey on the ground. However, after the monkey landed on the ground, it suddenly shrank back into the ground and disappeared. Boom! Qin Yun's rod hit the ground, causing the earth to shake and the surrounding trees to rustle due to the shockwave. "Motherfucker, it can still run like this?" Qin Yun cursed in low voice. And on top of the tree, a large group of monkeys suddenly dropped down and enveloped Qin Yun, Xian Yinyun, and the others. Xian Yinyun brandished a sword in her hand and hacked at those monkeys. However, she did not manage to hit them because their speed is very fast. "I can't hit them at all." Qin Yun originally wanted to sweep his rod towards the sky, but discovered that these monkeys' speed is too astonishing. When they dodged, they directly hid inside the tree trunk. "Still fight my ass. We should quickly run." Qin Yun yelled. "Hua Tongin, don't fight with these monkeys. It will only consume our strength." "Got it." Hua Tongin ferociously rushed forward. Qin Yun and Xie Ninyun quickly rushed forward. They conserved their power and used it to form a barrier to prevent those monkeys from attacking. "Big brother, there are a lot of monkeys. It seems like they want to stop us from advancing," Xian Yinyun said with some worry. There are indeed a lot of strange monkeys. More than 10,000 of them appeared just now. Qin Yun is certain that the direction of the head is the place where the great dragon blood flowed out from the small stream. "Don't worry, let's continue," Qin Yun said. He feels that there is nothing to be afraid of. A large number of monkeys blotted out the sky and covered the earth. They attacked from all directions. What caused Qin Yun to be alarmed is that many monkeys came out from the ground and vigorously grabbed at his legs. Their attacks are very sinister. These group of wild monkeys, Qin Yun's body suddenly released a fluctuation. It is a special gravity. After this gravity was released, a large area around him suddenly lost gravity. The monkeys that rushed over are now floating inside Qin Yun's gravity domain due to the weightlessness. Although Xian Yinyun is also inside Qin Yun's gravity domain, she is not affected by the gravity because Qin Yun did not lock on her. This gravity domain was released by Ling Yun, after Qin Yun became a golden immortal. Because it consumes a lot of immortal power to release it stably, Ling Yun only used it after Qin Yun became a golden immortal. Gravity domain consumes a lot of immortal power. Things inside the gravity domain can become zero. In other words, it can make things or people float. Or it can be many times gravity. It can increase the gravity that an object can withstand. It is similar to his supergravity. The group of wild monkeys fell into his gravity domain and floated up. They can only swim. Qin Yun took out a large net, casually spread it, and caught a large number of strange monkeys. Then he quickly put them into the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. "Not good. The consumption is too great. I can't use it continuously." After Ling Yun finished speaking, she can only withdraw the gravity domain. Although Qin Yun captured more than half of the strange monkeys, it did not calm down much. The remaining monkeys are even more angry, and there are still several thousand of them. Hua Tongin and Xian Yinyun are very surprised. They did not expect Qin Yun to capture so many monkeys. They feel even more admiration in their hearts. Those monkeys don't dare to attack now, because they have seen the gravity domain just now, and they are worried that they will be captured again. As long as we smoothly pass through, I will let your companions go, Qin Yun suddenly shouted. The group of monkeys calmed down, then drilled into the tree trunk or underground. All of them disappeared in a short while. Oh, very tactful, Qin Yun said with a smile. Just as he finished speaking, the earth fiercely trembled, as if something terrible is about to emerge. Chapter 1542. 1542 Chapter 1542 Danger lurking everywhere. The earth shook, and a very strong aura drilled out from the ground. Quickly fly, Qin Yun shouted anxiously. Xian Yun and Hua Tongyan quickly urged the power of their flying cloaks to soar into the sky. Only Qin Yun is still on the ground. The earth suddenly split open and a large amount of soil came out. A giant made of stone and soil appeared. After the 10-meter-tall, gray stone and soil giant appeared, it wrapped around Qin Yun. Big brother, Xian Yun shouted anxiously. Oomph. Qin Yun let out a muffled shout. The middle of the stone and soil giant's body suddenly exploded. After the explosion, Qin Yun rolled on the ground. The soil on the ground suddenly undulated up and down. Many huge mud hands appeared, like powerful mouths. They firmly grabbed Qin Yun's legs. After Qin Yun was grabbed, he used a very strong vibration power to shake off those mud hands. However, he discovered that the vibration power was actually offset by the power released by the mud. Boom! The stone and soil giant's palm suddenly came down and smashed Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun's reaction is extremely fast. He released a supergravity to form a shield to block the palm that came down. The stone and soil giant's huge palm collided with the supergravity and immediately shattered, turning into a large piece of stone and soil that splashed in all directions. Qin Yun used the earthquake divine ability. Through his legs, he poured the violent vibration power into the ground under his feet. The eruption of vibration caused a whistling sound. The mud hand that grabbed Qin Yun's thigh was also torn to pieces by the violent vibration wave. After Qin Yun broke free, he rushed into the sky. At this time, the monkey hiding in the tree jumped out. In addition, the vines and branches of the giant tree are also moving, rushing towards Qin Yun and company from all directions. Xiao Yun, these things are in cahoots. Ling Yun'er said, the big tree, the strange monkey, the huge mud man, they're all controlled by something. Xian Yun and Hua Tongyan released their golden immortal power to the extreme, forming a shield to protect themselves. At the same time, they brandished the weapons in their hands and chopped the tree vines. Previously, they tried to chop the big tree and knew that these trees are very tough and difficult to chop. At this time, the branches and vines that were constantly stretching over were just as tough and could only be blocked with weapons. There was no way to break them. Those monkeys shouted loudly. They looked very angry and kept pouncing at Qin Yun and company. Qin Yun's body released a shockwave, sending the monkeys that were leaping overflying. The floating cloud staff in his hand also crazily smashed at the vines and branches, but it could only bend them, not break them. After the branches and vines were bent, they quickly recovered and continued to stretch out to bind Qin Yun and company. Boom, boom, boom. The stone giant below used the soil and gravel on the ground to knead them into stone balls and then threw them upwards. Even Qin Yun feels very powerless at this moment. Those trees are difficult to break. They're protected by a very strong power. The rock earth giant below was difficult to destroy, and its strength was extremely great. The clumps of soil it hit contained a very strong force and would explode, producing a very strong shockwave. Even if Qin Yun and company have very strong golden immortal power to protect themselves, if this continues, their immortal power will be exhausted sooner or later. Xiao Yun, take out your divine position, Ling Yun'er said. Could it be that everything here is controlled by the immortal, desolate, sacred master? Qin Yun asked in fear. It's not him controlling it. It's the Dead Mountain Evil Forest's autonomous defense. If we follow this stream, we will be able to find the head of the immortal, desolate, sacred master. This guy is protecting himself. That's why this path is so difficult to walk. If you take out your divine position, after the immortal, desolate, sacred master senses it, he might let you go. Ling Yun said. Qin Yun immediately took out the small statue and poured his immortal power into it, letting the small statue release a strong aura. It's useless, Qin Yun thought, then controlled the floating cloud staff to become longer and stabbed downwards, bursting the huge mud ball that flew up. Qin Yun brought Xie Nianyun to his side. It will be safer this way. Ho! Xie Nianyun's sword danced. Sword shadows burst out. Sweeping sword energy is like a wind wave, bringing with it a golden aura. It opened up the branches and vines that extended from all directions. Qin Yun made the floating cloud staff even longer. It can stab the stone giant dozens of meters below. Right now, they can only maintain their position and not be taken down. But if this goes on, once they get tired and their defense is insufficient, the barrier will be broken and it will be a matter of time before they're taken down. Ling Yun said, "Let's wait. Last time you were sensed by the immortal, desolate sacred master. You also waited for a while. Senior, this is not the way to go," Hua Tonggan said, then rushed towards Qin Yun. "Let's wait a little longer. If it's really not possible, we'll take a detour and not take this path," Qin Yun said. He now knows that the path along the stream is a taboo path. There are all kinds of dangers along the way. Even if many powerful 9th-level golden immortals came in, they would not be able to hold on for long. Just as Ling Yun said, after Qin Yun took out the divine position and waited for a while, he suddenly sensed something. "I'm here, quickly come over." That illusory and weak voice appeared in Qin Yun's mind. "I can't go over. There are many things blocking my way." Qin Yun concentrated and said in his mind. Not long after he responded, the branches and vines that extended from all directions suddenly shrank back, and the huge stone and earth giant on the ground also drilled into the ground and disappeared. "It's fine." Qin Yun can't help but smile and said, "Looks like we'll be able to reach our destination very soon." Hua Tonggan is very astonished because he doesn't know what just happened. He looked at Qin Yun in astonishment and said in a low voice, "Senior, what's going on?" Qin Yun put away the divine position and said, "I just contacted the head of the immortal, desolate, sacred master. He controlled those things to disappear." "That's good. Senior is truly amazing. You can actually do this." Hua Tonggan is very moved. Qin Yun touched Xian Nianyun's top face and said with a smile, "Little Nianyun, don't be afraid. We are safe now." Xian Nianyun shook her head. "Big brother, don't relax your vigilance. There are still many dangers inside. We must be on guard." Qin Yun nodded, then pulled Xian Nianyun and landed on the ground. "Let's continue," Qin Yun said. Just as they were about to hurry on, Hua Tonggan and Xian Nianyun's expression slightly changed. Qin Yun also sensed that an evil aura suddenly rushed over from all directions. It's the Xie race. The commotion just now was not small, so we were discovered by the Xie race. Qin Yun said in low voice, "Don't be afraid of them. We can deal with them. Those guys are much easier to deal with than monkeys." In the blink of an eye, a large group of people wearing thick black leather armor rushed out from all directions. There are dozens of them. As expected of someone from the Xie race, Hua Tonggan cursed in a low voice. "Xie race bastards, what are you doing? Who are you people?" A middle-aged man roared. "Are you guys from the 3 great sects? So what if we are? So what if we aren't?" Hua Tonggan shouted. The saber in his hand also overflowed with energy flames. "It doesn't matter if you are or not. You only have 2 choices. Either become our slaves or die." The middle-aged man from the Xie race sneered. "If you are from the 3 great sects, then that would be even better. Enslaving the disciples of the 3 great sects would give you a sense of accomplishment." Qin Yun suddenly took out the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron. After he opened the lid of the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron, a large group of monkeys suddenly jumped out with a whoosh. After rushing out, they jumped in all directions. When the Xieyang race people saw those extremely fast monkeys, they immediately panicked and went to deal with a large group of monkeys. "Go," Qin Yun said in a low voice, then flew out and arrived in front of a middle-aged man in a flash. The floating cloud rod in his hand fiercely smashed down. Rumble. The golden immortal power condensed inside the rod exploded out along with a fierce and violent flame. The middle-aged man from the Xieyang race is also a golden immortal, but after being hit by the rod, his body actually split open and turned into a golden flame that rushed in all directions. The Xieyang race warriors are all wearing very good thick leather armor, but facing the floating cloud rod and the formidable power, they were instantly smashed apart. Xian Yinyun quickly attacked. The holy sword in her hand easily pierced through the Xieyang race people. The defense of these Xieyang race warriors is simply too lacking compared to those monkeys and trees. Hua Tonga became even more berserk. With one slash, countless saber shadows flashed and directly chopped those Xieyang race warriors into many pieces. Who are you people? The middle-aged man who spoke very arrogantly earlier is now extremely terrified. You guys are going to die soon. Why are you asking so much? Qin Yun rushed over and swept his rod horizontally, sending the middle-aged man flying and landing on Hua Tongan's side. Hua Tongan's large saber fiercely chopped down. Saber images burst out one after another, instantly chopping out dozens of saber images. The sharp holy saber easily broke through the thick leather armor on the middle-aged man's body. The body that flew over was chopped into many pieces and then burned by Hua Tongan's flames. The dozens of Xieyang race warriors originally thought that by surrounding and attacking 3 people, they would be able to easily capture them and make them their slaves. They never expected that these 3 people would be so terrifying. And what made them feel the most terrible is that group of monkeys. After Xian Yinyun, Qin Yun, and Hua Tongan killed 20 to 30 Xieyang race people, they stopped. Because more than half of the remaining Xieyang race warriors have been captured by those monkeys. At this moment, those monkeys did not continue to harass Qin Yun and company. Let them play. These monkeys are bored to begin with. If we catch those guys, we will slowly play them to death. Hua Tongan said with a smile. And let's fly in. It will be faster this way. I want to quickly find the head of the immortal desolate sacred master and then chop down Xieyang. Qin Yun said, Senior, are you serious? Hua Tongan thought that Qin Yun was just joking before. Of course I'm serious. If we don't exterminate Xieyang, great dragon desolate domain will not be at peace. Qin Yun said with a smile, I will definitely succeed. Chapter 1543. Peacock Hua Tongan doesn't know what happened to Qin Yun and Immortal Desolate. He also understands Xieyang quite well. He feels that Xieyang is an invincible existence. Previously, Xieyang race people went to find Songxuan's sect master a few times and told him many things about Xieyang. It was then that Hua Tongan understood how terrifying Xieyang is. Xieyang is a very strong divine tool. It has existed for many years and has been improved by many powerful inscription masters. It has become even stronger now. Now, as Xieyang has arrived in Great Dragon Desolate Domain, its goal is to find the head of Immortal Desolate Sacred Master. Xieyang's strength lies in its strong defense. It can absorb a lot of energy. Many powerful warriors and all kinds of strange things are born inside Xieyang. For example, the powerful demon slave or the Xieyang Saint Dragon. They were all born from Xieyang. Senior, Xieyang is at a very high place. It won't be easy to attack. First, we have to fly over. There must be a very strong barrier around Xieyang. There are also those giant lizard dragons flying around Xieyang. Hua Tongan said, Yes, it won't be easy to get close to Xieyang, but I have a way. Hua Tongan, you will know how powerful I am when the time comes. Qin Yun chuckled. Hua Tongan is also worried about Qin Yun. He doesn't want Qin Yun to take risks. Xin Yinyun feels that Qin Yun is very powerful. She believes that Qin Yun will succeed no matter what he wants to do. Qin Yun smiled. He soared into the sky and flew to a big tree. If it was before, they wouldn't dare to fly so high because the black clouds in the sky are denser and lightning would appear from time to time. They are specifically aimed at things flying in the sky. Before, the Xieyang race sent a giant lizard dragon to carry a large group of people into the Death Mountain evil jungle. It was definitely killed by the lightning. Qin Yun pulled Xian Yun's hand and followed behind Hua Tong'an. Hua Tong'an flew in front. His cloak fluttered in the wind. He knows that if the immortal, desolate sacred master lets them go, they won't be attacked by the things inside the Death Mountain evil jungle. But he is still not at ease. He is very vigilant and flying in front. Xian Yun is the same. Her expression is very serious. She is always on high alert. Little Yun, is that sword still useful? Qin Yun asked. It's very useful. Xian Yun nodded her head. She then looked at a bolt of lightning that suddenly fell from the left and whispered, Big brother, is it really safe for us to fly here? Qin Yun said with a smile. Don't worry. Nothing will happen. Even if it's not safe, I'm here. Xian Yun was not as relaxed as Qin Yun. She was very cautious, and the immortal power in her body flowed, ready to erupt at any time. She was already prepared for a fierce battle. Xian Yun is so vigilant because she wants to protect Qin Yun. She feels that her cultivation is higher than Qin Yun's, so she has to protect Qin Yun. High up in the sky above Death Mountain Evil Forest, thick fog pervaded the air. After Hua Tong'an flew a little faster, Qin Yun nearly lost sight of him. Qin Yun immediately sped up and chased after him. He shouted softly, Hua Tong'an, the black fog here is getting thicker and thicker. Don't fly too fast. Try your best to let me see you. Yes, senior, Hua Tong'an said with a frown. The black fog inside is getting thicker and thicker. When I came in earlier, it wasn't this thick. I don't know what's going on either. Don't worry, Qin Yun said. We'll go all the way. We'll definitely be safe. Although Qin Yun said this a few times, Hua Tong'an and Xian Yun have heard of the terror of Death Mountain Evil Forest since they were young, so they did not lower their guard. Suddenly, a strong gale rushed over from the front. Hua Tong'an immediately stopped and shouted, There's a situation. Qin Yun and Xian Yun also stopped. Hua Tong'an said with a frown, Senior, there's a very strong beast aura in front. It's a type of powerful flying beast. It's flying over very quickly. Qin Yun nodded. Could it be the evil sun race's giant lizard dragon? Xian Yun asked. No, I'm very familiar with that kind of dragon aura. The huge beast flying over should be a type of bird. Qin Yun said. He has seen many powerful beasts. He is very familiar with the aura of beasts. Just as he finished speaking, a burst of bird cry came from the front. Indeed, a very large bird beast is flying over. What surprised Qin Yun and company is that the large bird flying over is not some evil beast. Instead, it is a large white peacock that is tens of meters long. The huge white peacock dragged its long tail, and its body flickered with a faint sparkling and translucent white light. It appeared very dazzling in the thick black fog. What a beautiful white peacock, it's so big. Although Xian Yun admires the beauty of the white peacock, she is still very vigilant. She is worried that the white peacock will suddenly attack. After the huge white peacock flew over, it flapped its wings and hovered in the air. The white peacock did not say anything. It only let out a few cries. Qin Yun suddenly felt that this white peacock might be an inscription beast. The white peacock is very strong. This kind of powerful and intelligent bird beast, if it was an immortal beast, it would definitely be able to transform into human form. Only inscription beasts could not transform into humans. He is indicating for us to go up. Ling Yuner said, Quickly go and take a look. Maybe it was sent by the immortal desolate's sacred master. Qin Yun immediately flew over with Xian Yun and landed on the back of the white peacock that is filled with soft feathers. Hua Tong'an, quickly come over, Qin Yun said with a smile. It's here to pick us up. Hua Tong'an found it hard to believe because, to his knowledge, Everything in the Death Mountain Evil Forest is filled with danger. Therefore, when he saw this beautiful white peacock, he was very vigilant. He thought that a great battle was going to break out. He never expected that it would actually come to pick them up. At this moment, Huatangan also flew over with fear and trepidation. When he landed on the back of the white peacock, he felt fear and trepidation. "Let's go," Qin Yun said with a smile. The huge white peacock immediately took off and increased its speed. The white peacock's back is soft, and it is releasing white light. It is very comfortable to sit on. Qin Yun also lay down inside. "Finally, I can rest. Great, we are much safer now." Xian Yun gently stroked the white peacock's feathers and said with a smile, "I never thought that there would be such a big white peacock. It's so beautiful." After the white peacock heard this, it very happily cried a few times. Because it is flying, it did not open its tail, otherwise it would be even more beautiful. Qin Yun said with a smile, "Little Nian Yun, when we land, the peacock will definitely open its tail." Xian Yun's beautiful eyes flickered with anticipation. She said with a smile, "Really? I really want to see." Qin Yun is now a lot more relieved. This is exactly as Ling Yun speculated. The Dead Mountain Evil Jungle is controlled by the immortal Desolate Sacred Master. All the dangers were created by the immortal Desolate Sacred Master. The immortal Desolate Sacred Master also used the Dead Mountain Evil Jungle to cultivate many powerful beasts. Those monkeys from before must have been cultivated by the Dead Mountain Evil Jungle. What surprised Qin Yun is that the Dead Mountain Evil Jungle can give birth to so many powerful things, especially those trees which are very strong. This guy, Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, really has some skill. Qin Yun thought in his heart, "I wonder what kind of state this guy is in now. Is he really only left with a head? Xiao Yun, we will see that guy very soon. I wonder if we can take that head away." Ling Yun said with some worry, "That guy is so powerful. If he doesn't acknowledge you, there is really no way to take him away." "Indeed, let's talk about it when the time comes." Qin Yun said, "He is very important to us. Sister Kiru needs him to help restore the moon god's god position. Something like a god position should not be destroyed." "What exactly happened?" Ling Yun asked curiously. "I guess that all the god positions in the Nine Desolate are issued by the Nine Yang Divine Palace. In other words, the god position was refined by the Nine Yang Divine Palace. If it is really damaged, it must be related to the Nine Yang Divine Palace." Qin Yun said, Could it be that the Nine Yang Divine Palace is punishing the moon god?" Ling Yun sighed and said, "Sister Kiru is really pitiful. I don't know. Only by meeting the immortal Desolate Sacred Master can we ask clearly what is going on." Qin Yun said, "Although the white peacock is very big, its flying speed is not slow at all. It quickly pierced through the thick fog and clouds. Many violent thunder and lightning struck down, but none of them hit the white peacock. Half a day later, the white peacock finally slowed down and slowly landed. There's a very deep and large crack in the ground in front of them. The white peacock landed beside the crack and let Qin Yun and others come down. After Xian Yun and Qin Yun came down, she sweetly said to the white peacock, 'Beautiful peacock, thank you.' The white peacock very happily cried a few times and then spread its tail. Its beautiful white tail feathers spread out like a beautiful large fan. It is flickering with white light. It is very beautiful." Xian Yun very happily clapped her hands and repeatedly thanked the white peacock. After the white peacock spread its tail for a while, it flew into the sky. Huatangan looked at the crack in front of him and asked, "Senior, don't tell me we have to go down?" Qin Yun nodded and said, "Yes. Don't worry. We are already here. There won't be any danger." Qin Yun suddenly felt that the table made of instant void, immortal metal was dug out from the stone wall beneath the crevice. "Then I will go down first," Huatangan said, and then jumped into the crack. He has a flying cloak, so he won't fall down immediately. Qin Yun and Xian Yun also followed. After going down, Qin Yun very quickly sensed a burst of spatial fluctuation. "There's actually another space down here," Qin Yun said in his heart. The head of the immortal, desolate, sacred master is really hidden very deep. He must be afraid of being found. That's why he hid very deep. Ling Yun said with smile. With his ability, he can create the dead mountain evil forest and hide in the great dragon desolate domain. It will be very difficult to catch him. This crack is very dark. Dense and coal black fog is pervading the air. Qin Yun and others suddenly touched a space barrier. After passing through it, they felt a warm wind blowing over, and the surroundings are filled with golden light. Below is still the crack, but the two walls are flickering with golden light, releasing warm light. Hua Tonggan is also very apprehensive. He never thought that there would be such a magical place inside the dangerous Dead Mountain Evil Forest. Very soon, they landed on the ground. At this time, several people rushed over. Chapter 1544. Below the crevice, seeing people coming over, Hua Tonggan immediately stood in front of Qin Yun and Xin Yin Yun and vigilantly looked at the people rushing over. There are 5 people coming over. 2 of them are old men, 2 are middle-aged couple, and behind the middle-aged couple is a young man. How can there be people here? This is the hiding place of the immortal, desolate, sacred master. Qin Yun is very suspicious in his heart. Who are you people? The old man at the very front shouted angrily. How did you get here? Qin Yun replied. A peacock sent us here. Who are you people? The old man looked at Qin Yun and the other 2 and said coldly, The peacock sent you here? Then this is not a place you can come and go as you please. Hurry up and scram. Don't force us to take action. I came here to find a head. Do you know where that head is? Qin Yun said. You. Who exactly are you? How do you know that the immortal, desolate, sacred master is here? The old man said in astonishment. The few people beside him are also very astonished and looked at each other in dismay. It was he who called me here. I am here now, and I want to see him. Qin Yun said. He should be here. The old man snorted. Of course the immortal, desolate, sacred master is here, but even we can't easily see him. Do you think the few of you are worthy to see him? You must be lying. I just said that it was the immortal, desolate, sacred master who sent me here. Moreover, he sent a white peacock to bring us here. Qin Yun saw that the old man is very unreasonable, and his tone suddenly became very cold. Don't talk nonsense. You came here to capture the immortal, desolate, sacred master. The old man took out a long saber. Qin Yun tightly held the floating cloud rod. He really wanted to hit him. At this time, a faintly discernible voice sounded. Let them come over. Qin Yun looked towards the direction of the voice and saw a burst of golden light shot over. There is a very powerful sacred power. Did you hear that? Hua Tonggan coldly snorted and said, what is the background of you guys? Why is the immortal, desolate, sacred master willing to see you, but not us? The old man is very angry. He immediately rushed over and blocked Qin Yun's path. The middle-aged couple and the young man were also very angry, their faces filled with jealousy. Qin Yun said with a frown, Are you going to defy the sacred master of immortal desolate? What made him feel strange was that the sacred master of immortal desolate did not continue to speak, as if he had no intention of helping. The old man said angrily, Don't slander us. We are protecting the sacred master of immortal desolate. The young man shouted, You guys are just a golden immortal. Your cultivation levels are lower than mine. So how can you meet the sacred leader of the immortal wilderness? The sacred leader of the immortal wilderness must have made a mistake. Qin Yun said with a sneer, Then tell me, who are all of you? Why do you have to stop us? The sacred master of the immortal desolate region said that he wants to see us. The old man's face suddenly became full of arrogance as he loudly said, Listen well, I am the great elder of Floating Clouds sect. Back then, I passed through many dangers with the Floating Clouds sect master and protected the immortal desolate sacred master for many years. Since you are from the outside, you must have heard of the Floating Cloud sect, right? The old woman beside the old man proudly said, The Floating Cloud sect is the most formidable sect in the great dragon desolate domain. If you offend the great elder of the Floating Cloud sect, you are dead for sure. Qin Yin feels that this is very funny. He looked at Xian Yun and Hua Tongyan. What are you laughing at? The old man shouted. I'm the sect master of the Floating Cloud sect. Moreover, the Floating Cloud sect has declined for a long time. Qin Yin said, What? You're the sect master of the Floating Cloud sect? Take out the Floating Cloud medallion. The old man immediately shouted, Don't talk nonsense. How can my Floating Cloud sect decline? How can there be a weak sect master like you? I am weak? The guy who passed on the position to me is just an old Dao immortal. Qin Yin curled his lips and said, The Floating Cloud command token is not in my hands. I gave it to the Great Dragon Sect Master. Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain now belongs to the Great Dragon Mountain. If you don't believe me, go out and take a look. Many years ago, the Floating Cloud sect was indeed very powerful and prosperous. Some elders indeed followed the Great Dragon Sect Master into the Dead Mountain Evil Forest. Later on, only the Great Dragon Sect Master returned. The whereabouts of the others are unknown. Qin Yun is now very shocked. The great elder who followed the Great Dragon Sect Master into the Dead Mountain Evil Forest is still alive and has descendants. You actually gave the Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain to Hong Longshan? You traitor, you will suffer retribution. The great elder furiously said. The old woman is also very angry. She loudly shouted, What qualifications do you have to give the Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain to Hong Longshan? The Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain is the root of our Floating Cloud sect. You damned bastard, you scourge. Qin Yin shook his head and sighed. You don't know about the miserable state of the Floating Cloud sect? When I became the headmaster of Fuyun's sect, I only had a few disciples and a few Taoist immortals. Fuyun's sect had declined a long time ago. It was thanks to the protection of Hong Longshan that Fuyun's sect was able to survive. But you can't give the Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain to Hong Longshan. The old man stamped his foot. His eyes are red from anger. The youth furiously said, Grandpa, I will go kill this guy. He actually gave the Floating Cloud sect to someone else on a silver platter. This is an act of deceiving his master and exterminating his ancestor. The old man sighed and said, Little grandson, I originally said that after we return, I will make you the sect master. I didn't expect that now. This guy will ruin it. The middle-aged woman said, Don't believe his nonsense. Maybe he is deliberately deceiving us. He is pretending to be the Floating Cloud sect master, but he doesn't even have the Floating Cloud token. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. I am the Floating Cloud Old Ancestor. Floating Cloud sect was established by me. I can give it to whoever I want. Besides, it's all because of you guys. You didn't honestly stay in Floating Cloud sect and ran around everywhere. Otherwise, Floating Cloud sect wouldn't have declined. Qin Yun's expression sank and said in cold voice, You're the Floating Cloud Old Ancestor? The old man laughed loudly and said, Didn't you hear? This guy really dares to talk nonsense. The middle-aged man said, Wife is right. This guy has never been the Floating Cloud sect master. Now he still says he is the Floating Cloud Old Ancestor. Does he think we are fools? Qin Yin can't take action now because the family before him is indeed very strong, especially the old man and the old woman. They're the strongest golden immortals. Xian Yun suddenly said, Do you know about the Cloud Dragon Pagoda? Of course we know. That is the most powerful pagoda refined by the Floating Cloud Old Ancestor. Even if you have the Floating Cloud token, it will be very difficult to enter that pagoda. The old man said, What? What do you think the Cloud Dragon Pagoda is for? Xian Yun suddenly took out a small pagoda and said, Then take a look. What is this? This crack is very spacious. Xian Yun released the Cloud Dragon Pagoda. After the Cloud Dragon Pagoda became big, the old man and the old woman are dumbstruck. Although they have not seen the Cloud Dragon Pagoda for many years, they can immediately recognize that it is the genuine Cloud Dragon Pagoda. Xian Yun lightly groaned and said, This is a gift from Big Brother. He is the Floating Cloud Old Ancestor. He even released the floating cloud, heavenly pagoda. This. The old man looked at Qin Yun in shock. His face is filled with disbelief. It's impossible for the floating cloud old ancestor to be so weak, the old woman furiously said. Brat, what kind of method did you use to steal the cloud dragon pagoda? You bastard, it's all because of you that I can't be the sect master. I will kill you. The young man said with a face filled with hostility. Qin Yun suddenly took out the floating cloud heavenly seal's imprint body. The imprint body has already fused with the imprint spirit. Now he can barely use it. The existence of the floating cloud heavenly mountain is to store this floating cloud heavenly seal. In my hand is the floating cloud heavenly seal's imprint body. After I reincarnated, I took back the floating cloud heavenly seal. What's wrong with that? Qin Yun said in cold voice, and then enlarged the floating cloud heavenly seal. If you don't get out of the way, don't blame me for being impolite. He angrily rebuked. The floating cloud heavenly seal became as big as a small house. Looking up, one can see the runes emitting golden light on the surface of the seal. Although there are many runes, it is not difficult to see the word floating cloud. The old man's eyes are filled with fear when he saw the floating cloud heavenly seal. His heart is like great waves. He suddenly knelt down on the ground. Other people don't know about this floating cloud heavenly seal, but as a former great elder, he is very clear about what this seal means. He has never seen the floating cloud heavenly seal before, but he has seen its imprint. Because the imprint created by the floating cloud heavenly seal has a very strong and mysterious power. He also knows that only the floating cloud old ancestor can use the floating cloud heavenly seal. Old ancestor. The old man knelt on the ground. His body is trembling. He shouted in fear, "Please forgive me. I know I was wrong." The old woman's legs are also trembling. She also knelt on the ground. Floating cloud old ancestor created the floating cloud heavenly mountain. After he died and reincarnated, he is still the floating cloud old ancestor. What he wants to do with the floating cloud heavenly mountain, nobody cares. And that old man's whole family just spoke ill of Qin Yun, especially that arrogant youth. He even threatened to kill Qin Yun. Quickly kneel down. The old man punched the youth's knee, causing him to kneel on the ground. The youth is gritting his teeth. His whole body is trembling. The middle-aged couple is scared silly. They promptly kowtowed and admitted their mistake. The old man and old woman are very clear about the floating cloud heavenly seal. It is also the thing that the floating cloud heavenly mountain has been guarding all along. Old ancestor, we were wrong. Please forgive us. The old woman begged. Qin Yun put away the floating cloud heavenly seal. It was not the complete floating cloud heavenly seal, but it had a bit of an imposing aura when used. Quickly take me to see the immortal, desolate, sacred master. He called me over, Qin Yun said. Yes. The old man promptly nodded and said, Many thanks, old ancestor. Many thanks, old ancestor. The family finally realized why the immortal, desolate sacred master is willing to see such a low cultivation person. Because he is the reincarnated old ancestor floating cloud. Hua Tonggan and Xian Yinyun also relaxed a lot. They were worried that a fight would break out. Xian Yinyun stored the cloud dragon pagoda and followed behind Qin Yun. The old man brought Qin Yun and others and quickly walked towards the golden curtain. The immortal, desolate sacred master is inside. We can't go in, the old man said in low voice. Old ancestor, go in and give it a try. Qin Yun nodded, then pulled Xian Yinyun and walked over. They very smoothly entered. Chapter 1545. What happened to Sacred Lord after Qin Yun and Xia Ninyun entered the golden curtain? They arrived inside a golden space. There is a relatively large head floating inside. Qin Yun finally saw the head of the immortal desolate's sacred master. He has a head full of long golden hair, a fat head and big ears. He has a pair of curved but thick eyebrows. His eyes are very serious, carrying a faint arrogance. The head of immortal desolate's sacred lord looks very strange. His hair is very long and fluttering, but only his head is floating. There is no body. After Xie Nianyun saw the head, she felt an indescribable fear. She tightly pulled Qin Yun's hand, not daring to make sound. Take out your god position and let me see. Immortal Desolate's sacred lord spoke. His voice is rather rough and low. Qin Yun immediately took out the small statue. After Immortal Desolate's sacred lord saw the small statue, his eyes shot out two golden light rays. After the small statue was hit by the golden light from the Immortal Desolate's sacred master's eyes, it immediately trembled and released a very strong divine power. Qin Yun is overwhelmed with shock. He did not expect that this god position would contain such a powerful divine power. Is this true? Qin Yun asked. It's true. Moreover, it is in good condition. It is not damaged at all. Immortal Desolate's sacred lord snorted disdainfully. I really don't understand. How can a weak chicken like you become the sun god? Qin Yun's previous incarnation was the sun god. He had previously heard that the sun god was the weakest of all the previous incarnations, so he was killed very early on. Immortal Desolate's sacred lord, I want to ask you, if the god position is damaged, how do you repair it? Qin Yun asked. Your god position is not damaged. Why are you asking this? You painstakingly searched for me for so long. Is it just to ask this? Immortal Desolate's sacred lord said. I haven't been looking for you for long. Qin Yun laughed and said, I haven't been in the great dragon desolate domain for long. I mean your previous life. It's that Fu Yun. He sent an avatar puppet here and searched for me for many years. I know your previous life was looking for me, but I purposely didn't meet you. Immortal Desolate's sacred lord said. Qin Yun can feel that this Immortal Desolate's sacred lord is somewhat biased against him and looks down on him. Why did you deliberately hide my past life? Asked Qin Yun. Because he doesn't have a deity position. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said. I only met you after you found your deity position in this life. You've been looking for me for so long. Just ask me whatever you want. Qin Yun said, the moon god's deity position is damaged and needs to be repaired. How can it be repaired? That depends on the extent of the damage. The moon god's deity position is also in your hands? Immortal Desolate sacred master asked. No, it is sealed in a place. I'll go get it, Qin Yun said. The divine position of the moon god was in the immortal graveyard in the Cloud Dragon Mountain range. The sacred master of Immortal Desolate coldly snorted. You can't even keep your divine position. What kind of moon god are you? Your generation's gods are so weak. If the deity seat is damaged, then so be it. There's no need to repair it. None of you deserve it. Qin Yun felt somewhat angry, but he could not say anything. He had to help Xie Qiru restore her divine position. Otherwise, she would be in danger. Immortal Desolate's sacred master, have you never had a body? Xian Yun asked. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said, Little girl, are you saying that I'm weak and that I only have a head left? No, I just want to say that Big Brother can refine puppets and help you refine a very good body, Xian Yun said in a low voice. Little Yun, ignore this guy. This bastard is indeed very weak, and he's also a coward. After his body was damaged, he can only hide in this place. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Little Yun, don't care about him. It's a waste of your good intentions. He originally thought that he would be able to have a good conversation with the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, but this Immortal Desolate Sacred Master is very unfriendly towards them. You destitute sun god. You have the nerve to mock me? How many times have you reincarnated? No matter how many times you reincarnate, you will never be able to regain your divine position. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master is also very angry. You have died so many times, you must have offended the heavenly Tao. You can't be the sun god honestly and fight against the heavenly Tao all day long. No wonder you can't live long. Deadhead, what did you say? Qin Yun shouted loudly. You bastard, I didn't provoke you. It's all because you gods are useless and can't fight against the Nine Sun sects and the Xieyang race, causing me to be harmed by these scoundrels in the Immortal Desolate. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said unhappily. Hey, when you were harmed, it was a few epochs ago. I thought the sun god was a matter of this era. What does it have to do with me? Qin Yun is also secretly alarmed. I didn't expect that there would be some 9 sun sects and Xie Yang in a few epochs. That's also because you are useless. If you gods had the ability, you wouldn't have been killed. Immortal, desolate, sacred master sneered. Look at you. How weak you are now. You actually said that you would help me refine a very strong body. Qin Yun rolled his eyes and said, I can indeed temporarily give you a pretty good body. If you don't believe me, then forget it. Ha ha ha, pretty good body? My requirements are very high. I want a body that is at least not afraid of sacred tools. Immortal, desolate, sacred master laughed loudly and said, Do you know why my body was destroyed before? It's because those guys cut corners when they were refining my body. You were refined, Qin Yun said with a frown. That's right. I was refined. I guarded the immortal desolate and obeyed the sun god. Originally, every sun god wanted to help me strengthen my body so that I could suppress all kinds of scoundrels in the immortal desolate, but I was quickly forgotten. Back then, my body was destroyed, and I escaped with only my head. None of the gods in the divine desolate cared about me at all. They only cared about fighting for power and profit. Also, many gods blamed me for meddling in other people's business and restricting them from building altars in the immortal desolate. When Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said this, he became very agitated. His voice was filled with indignation as he loudly said, I am doing well here, and I don't listen to anyone. Those trash gods in the divine desolate have not lived as long as me. They have already died several times, and none of them thought of me. All right, you also have your own difficulties. Qin Yun sighed. There might be some misunderstandings between us. I hope we can eliminate the misunderstandings and cooperate again. You are the sun god. When you were the sun god, you didn't think of coming to find me. Only after you fell to the immortal desolate did you think of me. We have nothing to talk about. Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master said. I don't have any memories of my past life right now. Qin Yun said, You can treat me as the new sun god. I promise that I will make it up to you again. What guarantee do you have? Just based on what your mouth says? Immortal, Desolate, Sacred Master's eyes are filled with contempt. He said with ridicule, You don't have the memories of your past life? Then you are even weaker. Qin Yun suddenly took out the 9-sun divine hammer and said, I obtained this by chance, you should recognize it. 9-sun divine hammer dead. Although Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said disdainfully, he is still somewhat shocked. Soon after, Qin Yun took out the sun-suppressing divine arrow and said, What is this? Do you recognize it? Immortal Desolate Sacred Master's eyes flashed with shock again. He indifferently said, Sun-suppressing divine arrow dead. Qin Yun raised his hand, and a string of beads appeared on his wrist. He said again, Do you recognize this? 9-sun divine spirit alive. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master groaned. So what if you have these? You're the sun god. It is very normal for you to have these things. Do you hate the 9-sun sects very much? Qin Yun asked. Extremely. Back when I was an Immortal Desolate, I was bullied unbearably by them. Although the 9 Desolate has experienced several world extermination, I know that they still exist in the 9 Desolate. Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master said. Then do you know their sun altar? Qin Yun asked again. Of course I know. That is a very hateful thing. Back then I was killed by the sun altar with divine power. Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master recalled the past and immediately became very angry. There are 3 sun altars in my hands. Qin Yun said, Are you lying? Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master said with disbelief. Qin Yun took out the floating cloud pagoda. After Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master saw it, he said with frown, This pagoda seems to be the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. I will take you to see my sun altar. Do you dare to come? Qin Yun said, Why wouldn't I dare? Your broken pagoda can't trap me. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said. Qin Yun pulled Xian Yin Yun into the floating cloud pagoda and arrived at the 20th floor. This is the sun altar. It has been changed to the star god altar. There is another one on the moon's Guanghan Palace. Qin Yun said, "Didn't you say there are 3? What about the other one?" Immortal Desolate Sacred Master immediately recognized the small altar. It is the sun altar. The other one is in 9 Netherrealm. That altar is rather bizarre. Let me tell you about it. Qin Yun said. Qin Yun told Immortal Desolate Sacred Master about 9 Netherrealm and Floating Cloud City. After Immortal Desolate Sacred Master finished listening, he said, "It seems like you used to be the sect master of a 9-sun sect, and were later killed by the other 8 9-sun sects." "Maybe so," Qin Yun said. "He will return to 9 Netherrealms, Floating Cloud City, in the future." Immortal Desolate Sacred Master. Now you believe, Big Brother. He is very awesome, Xin Yun said in low voice. "All right, if you can give me a good body, I am willing to cooperate. Pay attention, it is only cooperation, not as a lackey. I can help Moon God restore her divine position," Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said. Qin Yun suddenly asked out of curiosity, "Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, who refined your body? Why is your head still there even after your body was destroyed?" "My head was refined by 9-sun Divine Palace. My body was refined by those gods of Divine Desolate. Those guys, not only did they cut corners when refining my body, they also couldn't keep up with the maintenance and support," Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said. Qin Yun took out a Divine Desolate puppet warrior's body that has been beaten to a bit tattered. This is the puppet body he destroyed when he attacked Scarlet Slaughter, Sacred City's sun altar. It is a bit tattered, but with your Immortal Desolate Sacred Master strength, you should be able to restore it, right? Qin Yun said. Chapter 1546. Sacred Lord's Rebirth. When Qin Yun saw the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master praising the tattered puppet's body, he roughly knew how weak the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master's original body was. It was actually inferior to the Divine Desolate's puppet warriors. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, your previous body is inferior to this thing? Qin Yun said. This thing was brought down from the Divine Desolate by a 9-sun sect when they were dealing with me. What kind of puppet avatar is this? My original body was really far inferior to this broken thing you gave me. The Sacred Master of the Immortal Desolate sighed, then released a wave of golden saint force that enveloped the heavily damaged puppet body. A scorching hot aura surged out. The intense flame is burning. Since the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master can repair the tattered Divine Desolate puppet warrior by himself, Qin Yun doesn't need to torment himself. Why didn't the 9 Yang Divine Palace help you refine a body? Xian Yun asked curiously. This shouldn't be too difficult, right? I was created by the 9 Yang Divine Palace. The 9 Yang Divine Palace only refine the head. They let the group of gods help me refine a body so that I can improve my relationship with them. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master's face is filled with helplessness as he said again. The 9 Yang Divine Palace wants the Divine Desolate's gods to manage the 9 Desolate and will no longer interfere in the matters of the 9 Suns and 9 Desolate. As for me, I am the last thing the 9 Yang Divine Palace left in the 9 Desolate. Why did the 9 Yang Divine Palace leave? Qin Yun asked. I don't know. In any case, everything here was created by the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Maybe they found it troublesome and left it alone. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master curled his lips and said, that's why they distributed many deity positions. After obtaining the deity positions, the experts in the Divine Desolate can obtain the power of sacrifice and become stronger through the power of sacrifice. The flames released by the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master are also very strong. Although he only has a head left, the sacred power is still very terrifying. Qin Yun and Xin Yun have no choice but to stay away because the temperature of the sacred flame is very high. Even Qin Yun can't stand it. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master continued. Later on, the Divine Desolate people killed each other in order to fight for the deity position. Some powerful people because they didn't obtain the deity position, they created 9 evil sons. Some created those 9 sun sects. Just like that, the divine desolate became a mess. Those guys wanted to control the 9 suns. In addition to other factors, they triggered the destruction of the world. Every now and then, this kind of thing will happen. Qin Yun never expected the situation in the divine desolate to be so chaotic. The struggle was so intense that it far exceeded his imagination. Then why did the Xieyang race come to find you? Qin Yun asked. You should know about this, right? Of course I know. Immortal Desolate's sacred master chuckled. The reason why the Xieyang race is looking for the 9 Yang Divine Palace is to join them. Qin Yun only knew that the Xieyang race was looking for the 9 Yang Divine Palace. He did not know that they wanted to join it. He asked, why did they join the 9 Yang Divine Palace? Of course I want to become stronger. Those guys must have reached a bottleneck and are unable to continue advancing. And only the people in the 9 Yang Divine Palace can break through that bottleneck. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said. Qin Yun did not understand that realm, so he did not have any concept of it. However, he knew that it was very important to the upper echelons of the Xieyang race. The flames released by Immortal Desolate's sacred master suddenly weakened by a lot. At this moment, a powerful mental power enveloped the body of the puppet that was being burned and began to repair the damaged body. Oh right, the inscription world is also looking for you. Qin Yun said. The inscription world was built by the divine inscription palace. Do you understand? Of course I understand. The few great powers of the divine desolate are the evil Yang Palace, the divine inscription palace, and the 9 Sun sect. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said. They are the same as the evil Yang Palace. They are looking for me to find the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun is also very curious about the mysterious 9 Yang Divine Palace. He asked, do you really know where the 9 Yang Divine Palace is? Of course I know. Immortal Desolate's sacred master laughed proudly. I can sense where the 9 Yang Divine Palace is. Of course, with your current strength, it is definitely impossible to go to the 9 Yang Divine Palace. At the very least, you have to enter the Divine Desolate. Qin Yun sighed. Wanting to go to the Divine Desolate is easier said than done. Immortal Desolate's sacred master laughed. If it was in the past, it would be very difficult to go to the Divine Desolate. But what time is it now? It is the period of 9 sun world extermination. The remaining 3 suns will continuously send down a lot of energy. As long as you have enough power and obtain all kinds of resources from the 9 sun, you will be able to arrive very quickly. Qin Yun told Immortal Desolate's sacred master about the Sun God Stone and also told him about the Sun Altar. The 9 Sun sects sent down such precious Sun Altar. Is it really for the inscription beasts? Qin Yun asked. The inscription beasts are only one of their targets. Immortal Desolate's sacred master slightly frowned. His expression is cold as he said, the Sun Godstone is just the beginning. There are still other things. Could it be that those guys from the 9 Sun sects know that something is about to descend into the Immortal Desolate? Why would it descend into the Immortal Desolate, and not Sacred Desolate or Divine Desolate? Qin Yun asked. Sacred Desolate is too close to Divine Desolate. If it descends into Sacred Desolate, it will definitely be easily obtained by those guys from Divine Desolate. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said with sneer. Only by descending into the Immortal Desolate can they not obtain it. And within the 9 Desolate, the Immortal Desolate has the most life. So of course they will take care of the Immortal Desolate. Speaking up to here, Immortal Desolate's sacred master proudly smiled. Furthermore, because of me, Immortal Desolate's sacred master, every time before world extermination, they will take special care of the Immortal Desolate. Qin Yun is secretly happy in his heart. If this is truly the case, then the Immortal Desolate will welcome several rounds of resources from the sun. Even the great powers of Divine Desolate want to obtain those things. It is clear that they are not ordinary. Then, what else will descend after the Sun Godstone? Qin Yun asked. Immortal Desolate's sacred master, you have experienced several world extermination. You must know about it, right? I have always been healing in this desolate domain. I'm not too clear about what is happening outside. Immortal Desolate's sacred master curled his lips and said, if I go out during the world extermination, I will definitely be killed. What's more, those bastards will always look for me at this time. Qin Yun is extremely curious. He asked closely, then roughly what will descend? Immortal Desolate's sacred master, you are the only great god who understands the 9 suns. You are the only successor of the 9 Yang divine palace. You definitely know. After being praised by Qin Yun, Immortal Desolate's sacred master chuckled and said, let me make a bold guess. It might be some of the materials inside the sun. They are all high-quality god-tier materials that are rarely seen even in divine desolate. Qin Yun is secretly looking forward to it. He feels that the Immortal Desolate will definitely become even more crazy in the future, especially in terms of cultivation and strength. At this moment, the body of the puppet, which was wrapped in flames, started to move. The flames gradually disappeared, and a body appeared. It is a tall and sturdy body wearing golden armor. It does not have a head. Immortal Desolate's sacred master's head chuckled as it floated over and connected to the body, perfectly fitting together. Done. Immortal Desolate's sacred master took the initiative and said with a smile, I've finally found a satisfactory body. Qin Yun suddenly took out the instant void immortal iron table and asked, what's going on with this table? About this. I had someone draw it and gave it to your previous life to see if he had the ability to find me. I didn't expect him to be so useless and not be able to find me. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said, you are quite powerful in this life. You have the demeanor of a king of gods. Don't worry, if you follow me, you will definitely become a powerful sun god in the future and rule over all the gods. I don't want to rule over any gods. I just want to hammer all those who persecuted me to death. Qin Yun spread out his hands and said with a smile, his previous life's immortal king Fu Yun was killed by those 2 great emperors. His previous life sun god was also besieged to death by a large group of people. Oh, that means you want to hammer a lot of people to death. Even those guys from the 9 Yang divine palace might not be able to do it. Immortal Desolate's sacred master patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said, kid, you should follow me from now on. None of us will be anyone's lackey. We will only cooperate. That's what you said before. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, after this Immortal Desolate's sacred master obtained a body, he actually became so unrestrained. This made Qin Yun feel somewhat amused. All right, let's cooperate. Immortal Desolate's sacred master sighed and said, don't look at me as a puppet. I can also become very strong. This head of mine contains many things related to the 9 Yang divine palace. The 9 Sun sects, Evil Yang Palace, and Divine Inscription Palace are all eager to be my lackeys. Yet you are wasting such a good opportunity. Qin Yun said unhappily, Immortal Desolate's sacred master, can you stop bragging? You were killed by them back then. They were defeated by you. How could they be willing to be your lackeys? Immortal Desolate's sacred master lightly snorted. Don't laugh at me. You were also defeated by them. You are also the god king of divine desolate. Weren't you also killed by them? You are much worse than me. That's why I want to hammer them to death. Qin Yun said, all right, what do you plan to do next? Of course I will go to Immortal Desolate and become the Immortal Desolate's sacred master. With my current strength, I am invincible in Immortal Desolate. They all have to kneel down and lick my boots. Qin Yun asked, only Golden Immortal Realm and above are allowed to enter the Great Dragon Desolate domain. Your power is far beyond Golden Immortal Realm. How can you still be here? Immortal Desolate's sacred master laughed loudly and said, because I am the Immortal Desolate's sacred master. The strongest in Immortal Desolate is only an Immortal Emperor. I am a saint-level expert who has surpassed Immortal Emperor. Can I still be in Immortal Desolate? So these desolate domains can't restrict me. All right, I'm going to get rid of Xie Yang. Are you coming? Qin Yun asked. Of course I'm going. Since those evil Yang Palace guys brought Xie Yang here, they're giving him to me. I haven't wanted to find a decent base for a long time. Xie Yang is just right for me. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master said. Then let's go. After getting rid of Xie Yang, we will return to Immortal Desolate. Maybe something big happened there. Qin Yun said. Little demon, do you have any good weapons? Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master asked. No. Qin Yun shook his head and said, Don't lie to me. You must have a lot of good things. I'm just borrowing them, not asking for them. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master said with mischievous smile. Chapter 1547. 1547 Chapter 1547 Flood Dragon Blood Spring. Qin Yun thought that the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master was very high and mighty, but he never expected him to be that kind of person. The mountain god of the inscription Divine Mountain is somewhat similar to the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master. Mutual benefit? Good, good, good. I will definitely not treat you unfairly. Hand over the weapon. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said with smile. Before, the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master did not have a strong body. He was worried that he would be killed after going out. After all, he only had a head left and was very weak. And now, he has obtained a body that is even stronger than before. He naturally became arrogant and began to shout that he is invincible. Here, Qin Yun took out a meteor hammer and said, This is a sacred tool. I only have this one. If you are not satisfied, then I can't do anything about it. Not bad, not bad. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master shook it a few times and said with a mischievous smile, I am very satisfied. It is much better than what I had before. Why are those stingy gods of Divine Desolate not willing to give me something better? Otherwise, I wouldn't have been so miserable back then. Qin Yun is somewhat surprised. Really? Why do you think the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master is so sullen? You don't even have a decent weapon? The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master sighed and said, That's right. Now you know how deep my resentment towards those gods is, right? The meteor hammer you gave me is very easy to use, very suitable. I like it very much. How about you give it to me? It's temporarily for you to use. If you want it, then use something to exchange for it. Qin Yun smiled and said, Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, you are such a wise and divine person. You definitely don't want to owe favors, right? So it would be more appropriate for us to exchange. Who said I don't want to owe favors? I am willing to owe favors. Give it to me. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said. Qin Yun is somewhat speechless. When he first met this Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, he was still a bit arrogant, but now he is acting like a hooligan. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, if you like it, why don't you just rob it? You are much stronger than me. Qin Yun chuckled. You are the sun god. How could I dare steal your things? The Sacred Master of the Immortal Desolate chuckled. All right, lend it to me then. When I get something good, I'll exchange it with you. After leaving the Floating Cloud Pagoda, Qin Yun stored the Floating Cloud Pagoda. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master, I heard that there are many instant void, immortal iron, and sacred mysterious silver crystal inside the Death Mountain Evil Forest. If you have these things, you can exchange them with me. Qin Yun said, I don't have a lot of instant space immortal iron, and I don't have many sacred mysterious silver crystals either. It's not enough to exchange for your weapon. Sacred Master of Immortal Desolate shook his head. How many do you have? Qin Yun said with smile. If I feel that it's suitable, seeing that you are the Sacred Master of Immortal Desolate, I will give it to you cheaper. About 7,000 kilograms of instant void immortal iron, 700 kilograms of Saint Profound silver crystal. I want to keep some Saint Profound silver crystal and Saint Profound gold crystal for my own use. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said. Qin Yun thought about it and felt that he needed instant space immortal metal. If he had another 7,000 or so, he would have about 5,000 kilograms of instant space immortal metal. All right, I will trade with you, Qin Yun said. Here you go. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master took out a storage bag and handed it over to Qin Yun. He said with mischievous smile, Happy cooperation. Qin Yun said again, I gave you such a good puppet body. You have to help me restore the moon god's divine position. Definitely, definitely. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master said, I will definitely be able to restore it. Don't worry. I'm just waiting for you to bring the divine position back. Strange. Why can you restore the divine position? Qin Yun is somewhat puzzled. Because I have the power bestowed by the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Didn't you see it just now? I easily restored that body. Just believe me. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master said, All right, there was a lot of great dragon blood before. Did you control it to flow out? Qin Yun recalled this matter and asked. Of course I controlled it. The great dragon blood is used to nourish those few dragon teeth. Did you get the dragon teeth? Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master said, I got it. Why are there dragon teeth there? Qin Yun also thought of those dragon teeth. They're very good sacred tier materials. Originally, I wanted to soak in the great dragon blood for a period of time to make the dragon teeth stronger and then refine my own body. But now I don't need it. I will also give you the great dragon blood. I will take you to the place where the great dragon blood is. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master said. After speaking, Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master put his hand on Qin Yun's shoulder. It seems like their relationship is very good. He brought Qin Yun and Xian Yin out of the curtain. After coming out, Hua Tonggan and Great Elder Fu Yun's family are very shocked because they saw the formidable Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master. Greetings, Sacred Master. Great Elder's family immediately knelt down and kowtowed. Everyone get up. You have been guarding here for a long time. As the Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master spoke, he took out a few stones and handed them over. He said, These are mysterious saint gold crystals. Each one weighs 10 genes. This is your reward. You can absorb the energy inside and cultivate a powerful sacred body and sacred spirit. Many thanks, Sacred Master. That family very gratefully thanked. They can now see that Qin Yun and Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master's relationship is very good. Let's go. I will take you to that Flood Dragon blood spring. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master seems like he can't wait to go out. He has waited for so many years and finally obtained a very good body. Moreover, he is the most powerful existence in Immortal Desolate, so he naturally wants to go out and have some fun. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master controlled the white peacock to fly back and brought Qin Yun and the Great Elder's family to the other end of the crack. Over there is a huge red pearl. It is being wrapped up by some kind of power and no longer flowing out of the blood spring. Is it really dragon blood? Qin Yun asked. Of course it is not dragon blood. In short, it has dragon blood aura. Don't worry about where it came from. This is a very good thing. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master waved his hand and brought out the large pearl. Qin Yun took out the small bottle and let the pearl enter. His small bottle was filled with a large amount of flood dragon blood and also the evil Dragon Mountain's energy source. The liquid inside is currently evolving, and now another pearl has entered. It is even more unknown what kind of thing it will evolve into. Let's go. We will go out and exterminate Xieyang. Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master shouted. Qin Yun put away the small bottle. He is very excited in his heart. He also found it very strange. Why did Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master suddenly become so polite to him? Before, Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master looked down on trash sun god like him. Xiao Yun, Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master, is just a small character. Don't look at how awesome he is in Immortal Desolate. After he goes to Divine Desolate, he is just a very weak little thing. You gave him a very strong body, and you have so many good things in your hands. As long as you're not blind, you can see that your future is boundless. It is normal for him to curry favor with you. This bastard, before he wanted to take me as his little brother, does he think I am a fool? Qin Yun secretly despised Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master. He thinks that you don't have the sun god's memory, so he wants to trick you. If you are really willing, then he will make a big profit. In any case, he doesn't need to pay any cost. Ling Yun said. After listening to Ling Yun's analysis, Qin Yun understood that Immortal Desolate's Sacred Master must be afraid of poverty. He has been hiding in this damn place for many years and did not dare to go out. Now he suddenly obtained a very strong body and also obtained the sacred tool meteor hammer given to him by Qin Yun. This gave him unprecedented strength, so he secretly admires Qin Yun. The white peacock flies very fast. It is also a very strong inscription beast. Because Immortal Desolate's sacred master has some sacred Xian crystals, he can subdue this powerful bird beast. Immortal Desolate's sacred master, do you still want this white peacock in the future? Qin Yun asked. I don't want it after I leave Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Do you want it? Immortal Desolate's sacred master asked. How about this? You let the white peacock follow little Yin Yun. She likes this beautiful white peacock. Qin Yun looked at Xian Yin Yun and said with smile, no problem, as long as the white peacock is willing. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said with smile. Thank you, Immortal Desolate's sacred master. Xian Yin Yun is very pleasantly surprised and immediately expressed her gratitude. Haha, you are welcome, you are welcome. Immortal Desolate's sacred master suddenly moved closer to Qin Yun's ear and said in low voice, Brat, you owe me a favor. You will have to repay it in the future. All right. Qin Yun knew that this Immortal Desolate's sacred master is not someone who is easy to deal with. Less than half a day later, the white peacock is flying in the dense black fog. Suddenly, a very large lizard dragon appeared in front of them. This lizard dragon is like a small floating island. Its wings are very large. Its wingspan is more than 1,000 meters. Moreover, its entire body is covered in armor. Its head is like a small mountain. There are 2 red light-emitting eyes on it. The most terrifying thing is that when the thunder and lightning hit the lizard dragon's body, it did not have any effect at all. This lizard dragon is bigger than the ones we have seen before. It seems like it is a very strong, evil sun saint dragon. Qin Yun said. Qin Yun and others are on the back of the white peacock. They can clearly see that there are many people on the back of the evil sun saint dragon. They are all from the evil sun race. In comparison, the white peacock looks very small. We have been discovered, Huatongan said. The evil sun saint dragon suddenly turned around and flapped its incomparably large bat wings. The scales on its wings trembled and released waves of black, evil energy. Walala! Black lightning overflowed from between the gaps of those huge scales and rushed towards the white peacock, along with a burst of astral wind. Although the white peacock is also very big, in front of the huge, evil sun saint dragon, it is like a chicken in front of an elephant. Lightning filled with evil power, it is like a torrential downpour. The astral wind is filled with ruthless aura. It feels like it is cutting people's bodies with knives. It's been so many years. Why is the evil sun race still this kind of thing? Nothing new. Immortal Desolate's sacred master coldly groaned and said, Immortal Desolate's sacred master, can you kill this thing? Qin Yun said, Of course I can. I am the Immortal Desolate's sacred master. I am an invincible existence in the Immortal Desolate, let alone this great dragon desolate domain. Immortal Desolate's sacred master laughed loudly and said, Watch how I destroy this dragon. Chapter 1548. 1548 Chapter 1548 Sacred Lords Might. After Qin Yun and others heard this, they are somewhat shocked and looked at each other. Since when did this evil forest become Xie Yang race's territory? Qin Yun doesn't know whether to laugh or cry as he loudly asked. Suddenly, someone said in low voice, Great Commander, the guy who spoke just now, is that Qin Yun? I heard that this bastard is some old ancestor Fu Yun. The Great Commander, standing on the dragon's head, is wearing black battle armor and holding a huge battle axe. When he looked at Qin Yun, his eyes flickered with red, lightning, and shouted, Qin Yun, are you Fu Yun's sect master? That's right, I am Qin Yun. Qin Yun said, Today you trespassed into our Xie Yang race's territory. You will become our slave. If you don't want to suffer, don't resist us. The old man said, Such big words. Who do you think you are? Qin Yun said with sneer. I am the great commander sent by the Xieyang race. My body is being tempered in sacred desolate, and I will soon find the immortal desolate sacred master's doghead. Then I will occupy the entire great dragon desolate domain. Great commander, Xieyang loudly said. His tone is extremely arrogant. This is infuriating. I have lived for so long and never seen such an arrogant person. Immortal desolate sacred master pointed at great commander Xieyang. He is trembling with anger and said, "Bullshit. You are dead for sure. You dare scold me? You little ant. You are truly reckless." Great commander Xieyang angrily rebuked. That huge Xieyang Saint Dragon opened its mouth and roared, spewing out powerful black thunder and lightning. Immortal desolate sacred master punched forward. The golden saint power is incomparably powerful. It directly tore apart the surrounding space. The powerful thunder and lightning spewing out by the Xieyang Saint Dragon were also instantly dispersed. Qin Yun and the others sensed the powerful saint power and are secretly alarmed in their hearts. Immortal desolate sacred master's strength is truly terrifying. Just now when he punched, the space of the great dragon desolate domain could not withstand it. It directly tore open many spatial cracks. If it was anyone else who had the power to surpass the limit of the great dragon desolate domain, they would have already been squeezed out of the spatial cracks. But immortal desolate sacred master was not squeezed out of the spatial cracks. It can be seen that he is truly being specially taken care of. Xieyang race people are also extremely shocked. They can clearly feel the dreadfulness of that power. Who are you? Great Marshal Xieyang asked. I am the sacred master of Immortal Desolate you are looking for. As he spoke, the sacred master of Immortal Desolate had already jumped above the evil sun dragon. Boom! The sacred master of Immortal Desolate's palm faced downwards and smashed down. A gigantic golden handprint appeared, pressing down like a mountain. Golden waves of air surged, blowing away all the black gas in the surroundings. The thick fog above the dead mountain, evil jungle, and the evil aura that shrouded the flood dragon desolate domain were blown away. The white peacock flapped its wings to stabilize its body and was not blown too far away. At that moment, Qin Yun also took out a soul-sealing pearl. A large number of remnant souls are about to appear. He wants to collect those remnant souls. Rumble. The immortal desolate sacred master's giant hand fell from the sky like a mountain and landed on Xieyang's Saint Dragon. A huge tremor erupted. The dead mountain evil jungle seemed like it was about to explode as it fell into waves of violent tremors. The Xieyang Saint Dragon let out a loud roar, and the Xieyang warrior on the dragon's back was instantly killed. A large number of remnant souls, accompanied by waves of energy, rushed all around. Qin Yun promptly flew out. Through Nether Sun's power, he sensed those remnant souls and absorbed them into the soul-sealing pearl. Just now, it was like a violent gale and torrential rain, but it did not last for long. The Xieyang Saint Dragon has been killed. It turned into a golden flame that floated down and burned the earth below. The Xieyang race's great commander also died without leaving any dregs. And now, the thick fog that shrouded the dead mountain evil jungle has been completely dispersed. The evil aura in the air has also been dispersed. The long-awaited blue sky finally appeared. 3 suns shone down and illuminated the mysterious dead mountain evil jungle. Qin Yun sighed endlessly in his heart. The immortal desolate sacred master's strength is truly dreadful. He killed all the Xieyang race warriors in one move. I still haven't used my full strength. If I use a bit more strength, I am worried that the flood dragon desolate domain will be destroyed by me. Immortal desolate sacred master curled his lips and said. Qin Yun flew to the white peacock's back in shock. He knows that the immortal desolate sacred master is not bragging. He truly has that kind of strength. Those guys might have already attacked the floating cloud heavenly mountain. How do they get so many powerful things so quickly? Qin suddenly said, Xieyang can teleport many things. When they attacked me, there were 3 Xie Yangs in the sky. Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master said. So that's how it is. Qin Yun is somewhat shocked. Let's go. We need to take down that Xie Yang as soon as possible. They can't deal with me now. They also don't know that I have appeared. I can easily take down that Xie Yang. Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master said with smile. The white peacock very quickly flew out of the Dead Mountain Evil Jungle. Honglong Mountain is the closest to the Dead Mountain Evil Jungle. Qin Yun told the white peacock to fly towards Honglong Mountain. Not long after, they saw Honglong Mountain. Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master said, Xie Yang race's aura is over there. You guys go deal with them first. I will not take action for now. If you guys are really no match for them, I will take action. Qin Yun knows that the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master doesn't want to expose too much power to avoid being discovered by Xie Yang. If Xie Yang ran away, it would be a great pity. Great Elder, Honglong Mountain is in front of us. They're surrounded by Xie Yang race. You guys should also take action and help. Qin Yun said, No problem. That Great Elder has let Qin Yun down before. Now he will do whatever Qin Yun says. Qin Yun nodded and said, Let's go. Qin Yun, Xin Yun, and Hua Tonggan quickly jumped off the white peacock's back and flew towards Honglong Mountain. The Great Elder and his family can't fly. They can only run on the ground after landing. Outside Honglong Mountain, there's a large group of pitch-black people. Some of them even have dragon scales. Evil dragon generals? Qin Yun said in his heart. It seems like the Xie Yang race has launched an all-out attack. They want to occupy the Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Xiao Yun, there are evil dragon generals and devil slaves. Moreover, they are all golden immortal level. Ling Yun said, Those Xie Yang race people are using very strong power, and there are more than 10,000 of them. It seems like they really value the head of the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master very much. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed, then sent a sound transmission to Xian Yun, telling her to pay attention to those evil dragon generals. Honglong Mountain is protected by a very strong barrier. The Xie Yang race people can only attack from outside. They can't attack inside. But if this goes on, Honglong Mountain will be breached sooner or later. Qin Yun is the first to rush over. When he landed on the ground, his body erupted with an incomparably ferocious supergravity. The evil dragon generals on the ground were all pressed to the ground, and the ground in that area also sank a few meters. Old ancestor Fu Yun is here. Kill your way out. Hong Quan Gang suddenly shouted. At the same time, the people inside Honglong Mountain rushed out one after another. After Qin Yun landed, he released tree claws and tree vines and wrapped around many evil dragon generals. Because the tree claws and tree vines contain overwhelming righteous power, it is very difficult for those evil dragon generals to struggle free. And at this time, a large group of people suddenly flew over from afar. It is the people of North Wind Valley and Sangshuan sect. Qin Yun's Fu Yun staff crazily swept out. A single strike could shatter an evil dragon general, and when it swept out, it would break a large number of evil dragon generals' bodies. Qin Yun's sudden appearance is something the Xie Yang race did not expect. Not far away, a few huge Xie Yang Saint Dragons suddenly rushed over. Just now, the people of North Wind Valley and Sangshuan sect were hiding far away. They also knew that the Xie Yang race was focusing their attacks on Honglong Mountain, so they rushed over to help. The Xie Yang race sensed that someone was hiding nearby, so they let the Xie Yang Saint Dragons carry people to search nearby. And Qin Yun's sudden appearance is something the North Wind Valley and Sangshuan sect did not expect. The Xie Yang race did not expect it at all. Xian Yun and Hua Tonggan both have very strong weapons in their hands. When they hit the evil dragon generals, they can cause very heavy injuries. Roar! Qin Yun suddenly summoned a nether realm heavenly lion. Little Ming, go all out and kill. Qin Yun shouted. He has not summoned a nether realm heavenly lion for a very long time. The main reason is that the nether realm heavenly lion died once before, so he feels somewhat guilty towards it. The nether realm heavenly lion will increase along with Qin Yun's strength. So it has become extremely terrifying. Basically, it can kill an evil dragon general with a single claw. Hong Guangyang, Sect Master Tsangxuan, and Sect Master Beifeng are also very strong golden immortals. They specialize in dealing with the powerful Xie Yang race warriors that can threaten Qin Yun and the others. This way, Qin Yun and the others can focus on dealing with the evil dragon generals and devil slaves. The disciples of the three great sects are all very strong. There are more than 10,000 of them. When they rushed into the battlefield, the battle became extremely intense. Although there are tens of thousands of Xie Yang warriors hiding nearby, they are now completely defeated. The main reason is because of the tree claws and vines that Qin Yun released. They came out from the ground and grabbed many Xie Yang race warriors at once. Not only can Qin Yun restrain a large number of Xie Yang race warriors, his own strength is also extremely violent, especially his floating cloud rod. Wherever it goes, not a single armor is left behind. Bodies are all broken into pieces. The battlefield is filled with violence. Death aura filled the air and miserable screams are unceasing. Kill! On the head of the gigantic Xie Yang Saint Dragon, a tall and sturdy middle-aged man shouted angrily. Kill them all in one fell swoop. The Xie Yang Saint Dragon is finally going to appear. Waves of powerful evil dragon pressure suddenly enveloped the battlefield. A few gigantic Xie Yang Saint Dragons flew in the sky and surrounded the battlefield. Then, they flapped their wings and released waves of lightning energy from all directions. The ones who will be killed in one fell swoop are you all. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master could not help but take action. In an instant, he appeared on the back of an Xie Yang Saint Dragon. When he landed, a very strong saint power condensed under his feet. He stepped on the dragon's back and injected the saint power into the Xie Yang Saint Dragon's body. Many golden cracks suddenly appeared on the surface of the pitch-black Xie Yang Saint Dragon. Its body exploded from the saint power that was injected into it. Bang! The ferocious and powerful Xie Yang Saint Dragon's huge body suddenly exploded in the air, turning into many pieces that burned with golden flames and scattered all over the sky. The people on the ground are all stunned, especially Sect Master Tsangxuan and the others. Chapter 1549. Attack Xie Yang. Chapter 1549. Attack Xie Yang. The immortal desolate sacred master finally made his move and killed a huge Xie Yang Saint Dragon, shocking everyone present. When the Xie Yang race warriors saw the immortal desolate sacred master's formidable power, they immediately panicked. Some of the leaders who were afraid of death quickly retreated from the battlefield. Finish this quickly, the immortal desolate sacred master shouted. His body surged with saint power as he charged toward another Xie Yang Saint Dragon. When he arrived, he saw that the Xie Yang Saint Dragon was about to escape. He shot out a golden lightning bolt from afar. Boom! Boom! The sound of thunder shook the heaven and earth as the violent thunder poured into the Xie Yang Saint Dragon's body. Following a burst of explosion, the huge lizard dragon's body immediately exploded. The huge body exploded in the air. Fragments and golden mist pervaded the air. It is like a burning golden cloud of fire. Everyone is extremely alarmed, especially the three great sects' sect masters. They don't know who this person is. How can he be so terrifying? With the immortal desolate sacred master slaying the dragons in the sky, Qin Yun and the others are much more at ease dealing with the evil dragon generals on the ground. They don't need to worry about attacks from the sky. Although the number of evil dragon generals and devil slaves is very large, and their power is very berserk, the elite disciples of the three great sects are not weak either. In addition, Qin Yun released a large number of tree claws and tree vines. The people of the three great sects can avoid being attacked. In just a short period of time, a large number of evil dragon generals and devil slaves have been killed, and the Xie Yang Saint Dragon in the sky is like fireworks. It is being attacked by the immortal desolate sacred master. Qin Yun is very clear that the immortal desolate sacred master did not use his full strength. Otherwise, the surrounding space would have definitely cracked. Compared to before, the immortal desolate sacred master is very restrained. The reason why the immortal desolate sacred master wants to end the battle quickly is so that he can quickly go to the Xieyang race after dealing with the Xieyang race warriors here. He is worried that the Xieyang race will escape. Qin Yun also paid attention to the escaping Xieyang race people. He ordered the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion to chase and kill them one by one. I won't wait for you. I'll go first. The immortal desolate sacred master is extremely anxious. He hastily rushed towards the black Xieyang. Without the threat of the few huge evil sun saint dragons, Qin Yun and the others will have a much easier time. In addition, a large number of evil dragon generals and devil slaves have been killed. They won't have any pressure. Xiao Yin Yun, Hua Tongan, you two stay here, Qin Yun shouted. Having said that, Qin Yun flew towards Xieyang as well. At the same time, he released a devouring power and attracted a large number of remnant souls to him. As he ran, he kept the remnant souls into the soul-sealing pearl. Although there were still a few evil dragon generals on the battlefield, they were struggling to escape as they were chased by the disciples of the three great sections. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master's speed is very fast. He disappeared in the blink of an eye. Qin Yun used the floating immortal rune ability and chased closely behind, following the aura left behind by the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master runs very fast, Qin Yun said in his heart. Of course, Ling Yun said. He is the Sacred Master of the Immortal Desolate. Although he is very strong, I feel that he has not recovered his full strength. Is this true? Qin Yun asked. It looks very strong, especially the saint power. I'm guessing he's on par with those great emperors. This might be because he was injured back then, and he still hasn't fully recovered. Ling Yun smiled and said, his body was destroyed back then, and his head must have been severely injured when he escaped. No wonder this guy doesn't dare to run around. He can only hide here. Qin Yun sighed and said, I hope he is not that weak. Immortal Desolate is very chaotic right now. If he goes out, he should be able to manage it well, right? It's hard to say, Ling Yun said. When the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master rushed over, he released a power that dispersed the black clouds in the sky. The sky above the great dragon Desolate Domain has already returned to its original appearance. The three suns are not obscured. One can clearly see the azure sky, and the Xieyang in the distance is releasing a black, evil aura. Qin Yun saw the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master in front of him. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master's speed is very fast. When he rushed over, he threw a palm attack from far away. A spatial vibration wave arrived, and the surrounding space cracked with a hua 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 sound. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master is now using a very strong power. The space of the Great Dragon Desolate Domain is unable to withstand it. The space violently fluctuated, and a large area of the space cracked open. The giant palm formed from the Golden Saint energy was incomparably huge. From afar, it looked like a giant golden mountain moving at high speed in the sky. Accompanied by the waves of Saint energy, it charged towards the huge black demonic sun in the sky. Boom! After the palm power of the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master rushed over and hit the Xieyang, a burst of golden light burst out. The surrounding space was once again shaken by the palm power. Qin Yun also stopped at this time because the distant place is pitch black, the space there has been torn apart. Fortunately, the self-healing speed of the space is very fast. The torn and blasted space immediately recovered. The black Xieyang was still floating steadily in the air. The Immortal Desolate Sacred Master stopped in front of the Xieyang. His expression is very solemn. Qin Yun is also very scared. He thought that the palm attack of the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master would be able to knock the Xieyang to the ground. Xiao Yun, Xie Yang is very strong. He did not succeed. Ling Yun'er said. Yes. Qin Yin landed on the ground and quietly rushed towards the huge Xie Yang. The immortal desolate sacred master does not believe it. He threw another punch. The huge golden fist shadow shook the heaven and earth, tore the space, and rushed towards the Xie Yang. Boom! The power of this punch is even more violent. The heaven and earth is suddenly engulfed by a golden storm. Qin Yin faced the wind on the ground. It is very difficult for him to move. Even though he cultivated immortal devil's sacred body, his whole body is in pain from the golden storm. The gigantic Xie Yang managed to block another attack. The space around Xie Yang has been torn apart. It should have fallen into another space, but it is still floating steadily above the great dragon desolate domain space. Qin Yin is very shocked. Xie Yang is actually so stable. He thought that the immortal desolate sacred master can easily take down Xie Yang. Xiao Yun, quickly go over. Although the immortal desolate sacred master is very strong, that Xie Yang is from divine desolate. It is an incomparably powerful divine tool. How can it be broken so easily? Ling Yun'er said. Then can I break it? Qin Yin is blocking the gale. He also has the thought of giving up. Give it a try. Ling Yin said, your floating cloud rod, 9 Sun Divine Hammer, 9 Sun Divine Soul are all very strong. Maybe you can take away that Xie Yang. All right, I will give it a try. Qin Yin nodded. The immortal desolate sacred master did not continue to attack because he knows that his power is not enough to break Xie Yang. Xie Yang is much stronger than he imagined. The gale stopped. Qin Yin concealed his aura, concealed himself on the ground, and rushed towards Xie Yang. Just as he was rushing over, Xie Yang suddenly shot out a black light beam. Xie Yang started counterattacking. He is attacking the immortal desolate sacred master. The immortal desolate sacred master groaned. He spread out his hands. Saint power rushed out of his body and condensed into a huge golden shield. Bang! The black light beam hit the golden shield and immediately dispersed. It cannot break through the immortal desolate sacred master's defense. Xie Yang suddenly started rotating slowly. Many black boulders suddenly fell from the sky above the immortal desolate sacred master. Those are huge black meteorites. They are wrapped in black electric fire. Dragging a long black tail, they are rushing down like lightning. One after another, the meteorites hit the immortal desolate sacred master's body at an extremely fast speed, producing a series of trembling sounds. Qin Yin looked up and immediately sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Those crazily falling black meteorites kept falling. They all hit the immortal desolate sacred master's body. Every moment, there are several meteorites, each of them carrying an incomparably violent energy. Still the same old trick? Scram! The immortal desolate sacred master roared in anger. His long hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes under his thick eyebrows emitted a golden mist. He shot out 2 golden beams. After the 2 beams of golden light shot out, they suddenly became incomparably thick and shot back all the falling black meteorites. At this moment, Xie Yang's voice came out. It was filled with ridicule. Immortal desolate sacred master, I never thought that you could actually create such a good body. But this time, you're much weaker than before, huh? You still remember me? Immortal desolate sacred master said in shock. I am the spirit of Xie Yang. I can be considered as the artifact's soul. Of course I remember you. Xie Yang's voice echoed in Zhong Yu's ears. He mocked. I remember your pathetic state back then. The immortal desolate Saint Lord sent by the 9 Yang Divine Palace to guard the immortal Baron is just a piece of *T to us. Xie Yang race, you bunch of bastards. Immortal desolate sacred master exploded in anger. He punched Xie Yang again. Don't waste your energy. I can't kill you here. You can't kill me either. Ha ha ha. Xie Yang laughed. Although I can't release a very strong power to attack you, I have other ways to capture you. A strong suction force suddenly rushed out. The crazily spinning Xie Yang produced a suction force and locked onto the immortal, desolate, sacred master. Whether we can find the 9-yang divine palace or not, it's all up to you. Xie Yang laughed wildly. Weak, immortal, desolate, sacred master, surrender. Everything in the surroundings was sucked in by Xie Yang. Immortal, desolate, sacred master used his strongest power. He tried to fly away from the range of Xie Yang's suction force. Immortal, desolate, sacred master is not his match. It's all up to me now. Qin Yin took out the floating cloud staff and said, Yuner, get ready. I will do my best to release the strongest nether sun gravity. Make the floating cloud staff very heavy. Ling Yuner said, Nether sun can definitely restrain Xie Yang. Qin Yin is already very close to Xie Yang. He arrived below him. He is not affected by the suction force because he has the gravity domain. The floating cloud staff in his hand suddenly became very long, very large, and very quickly extended towards Xie Yang. Boom! The floating cloud staff condensed the nether sun's gravity. The floating cloud staff also became very heavy. Coupled with the high speed, it caused the momentum to become even stronger. The most dreadful thing is that after the floating cloud staff condensed the gravity, it exploded out several times. That's why it pierced through the surface of Xie Yang. Isn't this too easy? Qin Yin is very surprised. Xie Yang is going to suck in immortal, desolate, sacred master. So his defense is not that strong. Ling Yuner said with smile. Also, it seems like Xie Yang is unable to defend against the nether sun's power. Chapter 1550. The divine hammer unleashes its power when Qin Yun's floating cloud rod pierced through Xie Yang. Even the immortal, desolate Saint Master, who was watching from afar, was shocked. He knew that Qin Yun was the reincarnation of the sun god, but his cultivation was very low, so he had never taken Qin Yun's power seriously. But now, Qin Yun had pierced through Xie Yang's defense. One had to know that the immortal, desolate Saint Lord had attacked Xie Yang a few times before, and none of them could do anything to him. Hence, he knew how strong Xie Yang's defense was. Therefore, when he saw Qin Yun pierce through Xie Yang, he felt that Qin Yun possessed the power of the sun god. Xie Yang was enraged. He let out an angry roar. Who the hell are you? How dare you hurt me? At the same time, Xie Yang stopped his suction force, allowing the immortal, desolate Saint Lord to break free. Suddenly, Qin Yun felt the floating cloud rod trembling. Surges of energy surged out from Xie Yang and were transmitted down through the floating cloud rod. Little Yun, quickly retract. Ling Yun shouted softly. Qin Yun quickly pulled the floating cloud rod back, but it seemed like the floating cloud rod was being sucked in by Xie Yang's power. What should I do? Qin Yun was alarmed. Should I give up on the floating cloud staff? Ling Yun said, Make the floating cloud staff bigger. Qin Yun immediately did as he was told and made the floating cloud staff even thicker. Every time the floating cloud staff expanded, it would consume Qin Yun's energy. As Qin Yun's cultivation increases, the floating cloud staff will also become bigger and longer. Under Qin Yun's control, the floating cloud rod suddenly grew bigger. Only the part that entered Xie Yang became bigger. Immortal, desolate, sacred master, quickly come and help. Qin Yun suddenly shouted. He cannot give up on the floating cloud staff because the star god altar is still inside. The immortal, desolate, sacred master was stunned for a moment, then immediately rushed to Qin Yun's side and asked in astonishment, Kid, you recovered your divine power? Of course not. Qin Yun said, Quickly hold it and pour your power into it. The end that Qin Yun was holding did not become bigger. It was still the normal size, but the other end became very big. After the sacred master of Immortal Desolate clenched his fists, he said in a low voice, I'll begin. All right, Qin Yun shouted. Suddenly, the floating cloud staff vibrated. After the sacred master of the Immortal Desolate region injected his power into the floating cloud staff, it shook violently. Qin Yun also felt the powerful saint energy. He quickly controlled the saint energy to rush up the floating cloud staff. At the same time, Xieyang was also releasing a surge of energy through the floating cloud rod. Thankfully, the immortal desolate Saint Lord was able to channel his saint power in time, repelling Xieyang's energy. It's stable. Qin Yun felt relieved. This nine-sun sky-raising pagoda is really amazing. It's as terrifying as the legends say. Immortal, desolate, sacred master exclaimed. He was secretly delighted because Xieyang was most likely going to be captured. Xieyang's angry and shocked voice resounded in the heaven and earth. Who are you? Why are you asking so many questions? Qin Yun said, You're going to be finished soon. Just speak less. You bastard. Xieyang shouted angrily. I will not be finished. I've lived through a few eras. How can I be destroyed by ants like you? The immortal desolate Saint Lord was now channeling all of his energy into the floating cloud rod and into Xieyang's body. Xieyang, you will die today. Immortal desolate Saint Lord laughed loudly. Ha ha! I admit that you all have some skills, but can you really destroy me? The nine suns have been destroyed a few times, but I have not been destroyed even once. In the nine desolate, no one can destroy me. Xieyang laughed loudly. The whole Xieyang was now trembling. It was obvious that it was affected by something. Suddenly, the space around Xieyang fluctuated. Not good. He is going to run. Ling Yuner said. Immortal desolate Saint Lord gritted his teeth and cursed. Xieyang is going to run? Hold on, I'm going to attack. Qin Yun suddenly took out the nine-sun divine hammer. This thing is dead. It's useless, right? Immortal desolate Saint Lord said anxiously. Qin Yun still had 1,000 inner core fragments. He took out 500 and let the nine-sun divine hammer absorb them. Very quickly, the nine-sun divine hammer absorbed 500 inner core fragments. What are you doing? Immortal desolate Saint Lord was shocked. He didn't expect the nine-sun divine hammer to come back to life. Qin Yun jumped high up in the sky. His arms suddenly swelled up, and many nether sun totems appeared on his arm. Now, not only the nether sun totems, with heavenly Tao's ferocious aura, there are also heavenly Tao's flame violent nether sun totems. The small divine hammer also came out of Qin Yun's body and entered the nine-sun divine hammer, becoming its tool spirit. The nine-sun divine hammer suddenly became very big. Qin Yun held the hammer handle with both hands. This is the nine-sun divine hammer? Xieyang's voice is filled with fear. Yunner, go all out, Qin Yun said in low voice. All right. Ling Yun immediately released the nether sun's power and poured it into the nine-sun divine hammer. The nine-sun divine hammer suddenly turned pitch black, and nether sun totems appeared on its surface. Most of Qin Yun's power has been poured into the nine-sun divine hammer. Now, the nine-sun divine hammer is violently trembling. The space around it is also fluctuating along with the trembling of the nine-sun divine hammer. Qin Yun let out a loud roar. He threw the nine-sun divine hammer towards Xieyang, who was right in front of him. The nine-sun divine hammer rotated. While flying, it suddenly became very big. The hammerhead is like a huge mountain. The whole body of the nine-sun divine hammer is golden red in color. On its surface, there is a majestic and imposing nether sun totem. The power released from inside the hammer is very ferocious and mighty. The rotating divine hammer can now absorb the power of the three suns in the sky. It can be seen that the three suns shot down 3 beams of light and entered into the nine-sun divine hammer. This way, the power of the nine-sun divine hammer has become even more ferocious. When the nine-sun divine hammer rotated, the space around it is like a raging sea. After it was torn apart, a pitch-black, tyrannical space appeared and violently fluctuated. The space around Xieyang is also being disturbed by the nine-sun divine hammer, causing Xieyang to be unable to teleport away. Immortal, desolate, sacred Lord is tongue-tied, looking at the huge and dreadful divine hammer flying over. The buzzing vibration caused him to feel incomparably shocked. The rotating divine hammer finally hit Xieyang. Its power is incomparably dreadful. The power that burst out seems like it can tear apart several layers of space. At that moment, the entire flood dragon desolate domain space is fluctuating as if it is about to collapse. Nine Sun Divine Hammer. Nine Sun Divine Hammer. Who are you? Who are you? Xie Yang shouted in fear. And Nether Sun? After being hit, the surface of Xie Yang suddenly cracked. Many golden cracks appeared on it. The Nine Sun Divine Hammer suddenly shrunk, turned into a beam of light, and returned to Qin Yun's hand. This Xie Yang is finished. Qin Yun landed beside Immortal Desolate Sacred Lord, grabbed the floating cloud rod, and vigorously shook it. Rumble. The entire Xie Yang exploded in an instant, releasing a large amount of golden light. Xie Yang originally had a very powerful energy source inside it. When it exploded, the core of Xie Yang was also absorbed by Qin Yun through the floating cloud rod and was hidden inside the floating cloud pagoda. Qin Yun only felt that something has entered the floating cloud rod. He doesn't know what it is. The space is about to collapse. Qin Yun shouted. He also kept the floating cloud rod. Great! Finally killed Xie Yang, huh? Immortal Desolate Sacred Lord is very happy. He laughed again and again. He originally wanted to take Xie Yang away and make it his nest, but he also knew that with his current strength, forget about taking Xie Yang away. Even killing him will not be easy. Now, Immortal Desolate Sacred Lord finally witnessed the power of the Sun God. Even if his cultivation is very low, at the most crucial moment, he can obtain the protection of the Sun God. Just now, the three suns in the sky gave Qin Yun a lot of help, allowing the Nine Sun Divine Hammer to obtain a very strong power. Immortal Desolate Sacred Lord, the Flood Dragon Desolate Domain is about to collapse. What should we do? Qin Yun asked. Don't worry. Leave it to me. I will stabilize the space here. Immortal Desolate Sacred Lord immediately released his powerful saint power, stabilizing the shaking space. Not long after, the Flood Dragon Desolate Domain stabilized. The surrounding space that was torn apart gradually healed. The people outside of Honglong Mountain all saw the giant evil sun explode in the distance. Especially Hua Tongyan. He is the most shocked, because Qin Yun said before that he will take down Xie Yang. Although he did not take it down now, Xie Yang exploded. The people of the three sects are extremely shocked. They all think that it was done by old ancestor Fuyan. And those Xie Yang race warriors who are still struggling at death's door, all of them are wailing in grief, shouting things like Xie Yang will not die. Xie Yang will live as long as the heavens. Even though they are saying that, they know that Xie Yang has truly exploded. There are a total of 9 Xie Yang. They have existed for several eras. They have never been destroyed since they were created. But now, one of them has been destroyed, and it is even in a low-level space. If it was destroyed in the Divine Desolate or the mysterious Ninth Desolate, it would still be acceptable. But now, it was destroyed in a desolate domain in the Immortal Desolate. Not only did Qin Yun destroy the Sun Altar, he also destroyed Xie Yang. He is now completely at odds with the Xie Yang race and Nine Sun sects, these two superpowers. He feels that there is nothing to be afraid of. This is also something he should do, because when he was the Sun God, he was already killed by these people. Furthermore, back in the Heart Yang realm, he was already fighting against the Xie Yang race. Qin Yun has expended a lot of energy just now. He is now very weak. Immortal Desolate Saint Master placed his palm on Qin Yun's back. He injected saint power inside. A God King is indeed a God King. Even though he is in dire straits, he is still awesome. I have lived for so long, but I have never heard of Xie Yang being killed. You have already destroyed a Xie Yang. What will happen in the future? Qin Yun smiled and said, Immortal Desolate Saint Master, you are still the best. You even wanted to take me in as your little brother. Immortal Desolate Saint Master smiled awkwardly. But I did not see that you have such great potential. Qin Yun's expression suddenly turned serious. He said, we cannot let our guard down. I can kill Xie Yang this time mainly because I was in the Flood Dragon Desolate Domain. If I was in the immortal desolate, it would be hard to say. Chapter 1551. Send you to heaven. The great Dragon Baron region was invaded by the Xie Yang celestial race, but after killing Xie Yang, everyone in the great Dragon Baron region was overjoyed, especially when he saw the blue sky and the three suns again. After killing Xie Yang, Qin Yun, an immortal desolate sacred master, flew back to the Honglong Mountain. After arriving, Qin Yun took out the soul-sealing pearl and placed the remnant souls in. Big brother, are you all right? When Xian Yinyun saw Qin Yun return, her worried heart finally relaxed. She jogged over and held Qin Yun's hand. Of course I'm fine, Qin Yun said with a smile. Xian Yinyun looked at Qin Yun's body to make sure that he is fine. She was worried that Qin Yun might be injured due to the huge commotion caused by his attack on Xie Yang. Hong Quangang, Sect Master Bei Feng, Sect Master Tsang Xuan, as well as Niu Tianquang and Old Man Song, all hurriedly walked over to greet Ancestor Floating Cloud. My matters have been settled. If you have the opportunity in the future, you should go to Immortal Desolate more often. Qin Yun said with a smile, I will be returning to Immortal Desolate. There are many things waiting for me to handle there. Ancestor, then take care. If you have time, you should come and visit us. Old Man Song laughed. Got it. Qin Yun smiled. Immortal Desolate's sacred master did not say anything to them. He could not wait to leave the great dragon desolate domain. He called the white peacock over and had it turn to a very small bird before handing it over to Xian Yinyun. Xian Yinyun was overjoyed to be able to obtain the white peacock and immediately thanked the immortal desolate's sacred leader. Hua Tongan, follow me, Qin Yun said. He needs a powerful golden immortal like Hua Tongan to guard the divine inscription mountain. What worried Qin Yun was that he was now at the golden immortal realm. He did not know if he could enter inscription divine mountain. One must know that the inscription divine mountain has only evolved into a Dao immortal level divine mountain. If he couldn't enter the divine inscription mountain, it would be a joke. The immortal desolate sacred master said with a smile, We are finally going to the immortal desolate. Let's go. With a wave of his hand, he released a very strong wave of saint energy, directly creating a spatial crack. Seeing the spatial crack, Hong Quangang and the others were shocked. Qin Yun pulled Xian Yinyun and stepped into the spatial crack. Hua Tongan and the immortal desolate sacred master also followed him out and arrived at the immortal desolate in an instant. Ha ha ha! I have finally arrived at the immortal desolate. I am the sacred master of the immortal desolate. I am invincible in the immortal desolate. The sacred master of the immortal desolate looked up at the three suns in the sky and laughed maniacally. Qin Yun looked all around. He doesn't know where he is in the immortal desolate. He took out a soul-chasing talisman to look for Xiao Yuemei. The reaction of the soul-chasing talisman meant that Xiao Yuemei was nearby. I, the sacred master of the immortal desolate, will rule the immortal desolate. The immortal desolate's sacred master held the meteor hammer in his hand. His face was filled with arrogance as he laughed loudly. From today onwards, the immortal desolate will be ruled by me. All living beings in the immortal desolate will submit to me. Immortal desolate sacred master, what are your plans? Qin Yun asked. I want to go to a place to see if my saint master's heaven palace is still there. Immortal desolate sacred master said. Although several epochs have passed, I think we should still be able to find the sacred master heavenly palace. Where is the sacred master heavenly palace? Qin Yun said with some astonishment. The sacred master heavenly palace should be very powerful, right? Oh, that's right. How do we contact each other in the future? Wait until you obtain the moon god's god seat, then come find me. You can use your god seat to communicate with me. Naturally, you won't be able to contact me all the time. When it is convenient, I will naturally reply to you. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master said. All right. Qin Yun nodded and said again, Don't become enemies with Nether Sect in the Immortal Desolate. Nether sect leader is my foster father. Also don't become enemies with Moon's Guanghan Palace. Guanghan Palace's palace master is my friend. Immortal Desolate's sacred master said with smile. All right, I will remember. I won't go around causing trouble. Moreover, I am an unparalleled overlord of the immortal desolate. I won't do such lowly things. Goodbye. I wish you luck. Don't be beaten until only your head is left. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. How can that be? I will now go teach a lesson to those tyrants of the immortal desolate. Just wait for good news. Immortal Desolate Sacred Master let out a long laugh, then soared into the sky and disappeared in a short while. Since Hua Tongyan and Xian Yun just arrived in the Immortal Desolate, they are very curious about the Immortal Desolate. Immortal Desolate is no different from Great Dragon Desolate Domain. It is just that it is bigger and has more things. Qin Yun said with smile. Let's go. We will take you to a place. Qin Yun took out the soul-chasing talisman and flew towards the divine inscription mountain. While flying in the sky, Xian Yun pulled Qin Yun's hand and looked at the scenery below, especially when they saw those huge divine mountains and big rivers. They let out a burst of exclamations. One day later, Qin Yun and the others suddenly saw a 10,000 feet tall pagoda slowly moving in front of them. Each level of the pagoda is releasing different kind of light. It looks very majestic and intimidating from far away. Especially the imposing aura released by the pagoda. It is accompanied by a burst of wind blowing over. It is very shocking. What? What is that? Hua Tongyan shouted in alarm while floating in the sky. Qin Yun is also very startled because that is the divine inscription mountain. The divine inscription mountain can change according to the mountain god's control. Previously it turned into a pagoda, but now it looks more like a pagoda. The most shocking thing is that this 9-story pagoda is much bigger than before. When it moves, it makes people feel even more terrified. Qin Yun really did not expect that after he left for a short period of time, the divine inscription mountain would become like this. It is even bigger and stronger than before. This old mountain can really eat. Qin Yun said with smile. Looks like it should be a golden immortal level divine mountain. If it is a golden immortal level divine mountain, then the divine fruits on it are definitely suitable for golden immortals to eat. The divine inscription mountain suddenly stopped. Qin Yun said, That is the divine inscription mountain? Let's hurry over. After the divine inscription mountain stopped, a large group of people flew over and surrounded the divine inscription mountain. Who is surrounding the divine inscription mountain? What are they doing? Qin Yun said with frown. Let's quickly go and take a look. Qin Yun increased his speed and flew over. When they arrived, they saw a large group of people floating in the air nearby. The divine inscription mountain is so huge, and it is also emitting light. Even if they were at the side, they would be able to absorb the power released by the divine inscription mountain, let alone enter. After approaching, they can see that every level of the divine inscription mountain has many thick and sturdy trees. Those big trees are filled with colorful divine fruits. This is also the reason why every level of the divine inscription mountain has different colors. After Qin Yun and Xian Yun went over, they heard a large group of people constantly cursing. This damned divine mountain swallowed all the divine mountains of our immortal family in the Earth Province. Our devil immortal heavenly gate has also been swallowed a lot. In the Earth Province, as long as it is a divine mountain that we occupy, it will be swallowed. The owner of the divine inscription mountain is Qin Yun. Is this guy inside? This damned bastard. He won't be able to live for long. Our long family has also been swallowed a lot. Motherfucker, if not for the bullshit rules of the Earth Province, the immortal emperors of the Heaven Province would have already come and killed them. Rules must be followed. If we don't follow the rules, and the immortal emperors come here to snatch territory, then the immortal emperors of the other great powers will also act recklessly. At that time, it will be a mess. Many of the people chasing after the divine inscription mountain are from those great powers. Of course, there are also many people who want to absorb the energy released by the divine inscription mountain. When Qin Yun saw how powerful the divine inscription mountain is, he felt very relieved. Even if an immortal emperor came, they might not be able to break through the divine inscription mountain. Xian Yinyun, Qin Yun, and Hua Tongan landed on the ground and walked towards the divine inscription mountain. The divine inscription mountain has a barrier. Qin Yun can fly in by himself, but Hua Tongan and Xian Yinyun can't. They have to follow the rules and enter through an entrance. After they landed, they walked towards the entrance of the heaven stairway. When they were passing by, more than 10 people suddenly landed in front of them. "What are you guys doing?" Qin Yun asked. "Nothing much. We just saw that this girl's figure is very good, so we are a bit curious. We want to see what she looks like." A middle-aged man dressed in black said with a wretched smile. The eyes of the dozen or so people surrounding them are also filled with lustful light. They smiled lewdly and sized up Xian Yinyun from head to toe. Xian Yinyun is only wearing a simple white dress and a veil covering her face. However, she has a kind of elegant temperament. Even though her face is covered with a veil, as long as one can see her gentle and beautiful eyes, they would know that under the veil, there is definitely a peerless face that can topple cities. "Who are you people?" Qin Yun asked. "Big brother, ignore them. Let's go." Xian Yinyun whispered and pulled Qin Yun. "Who is it? If I say it, you'll be scared to death." The middle-aged man chuckled and said, "If you know what's good for you, then let us play with your sister for a few days. Otherwise, don't even think about following this divine mountain. We are from the immortal family, Heavenly Tiger Star, Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate, Long family." "Is it loud enough?" A young man smiled proudly and said, "This divine mountain is surrounded by our territory. Without our permission, no one can approach it." Qin Yun pulled Xian Yinyun, then raised his finger and pointed at the middle-aged man with 2 fingers. He said, "The divine inscription mountain is mine. The surroundings of the divine inscription mountain is my territory." Ha ha ha! That group of people laughed loudly. At this moment, many people looked down because someone actually provoked the children of those great powers. "You spoke rudely to my sister just now, moreover in my territory." Qin Yun's 2 fingers condensed golden immortal power. "Ha! I have never seen such a braggart. He must be an idiot, yet he is still bragging in front of us. Then tell me, what do you want to do to me now?" That middle-aged man laughed loudly and said. The people beside him also held their bellies and laughed loudly. And the people floating in the air repeatedly shook their heads. They are very clear about how rude and unreasonable the children of those great powers are. "Quickly tell me, what do you want to do to me? I will listen to you and then properly teach you a lesson." That middle-aged man is still laughing loudly. Chapter 1552, Powerful Divine Mountain. Chapter 1552, Powerful Divine Mountain. Qin Yun attacked with exploding heaven finger. After the golden immortal power entered the middle-aged man's head, it suddenly exploded. With a loud explosion, the upper half of the middle-aged man's body exploded. Several people beside the middle-aged man were also affected. Their bodies exploded and split open. "Hua Tongan, get rid of them," Qin Yun said. As soon as his voice fell, Hua Tongan's body flashed and a few shadows appeared. He split into several doppelgangers and rushed towards the few people who were fleeing. Boom, boom, boom. Hua Tongan's powerful doppelgangers were killed in 3 moves. Moreover, they directly tore apart or exploded those people's bodies. It is very bloody and cruel. It must be known that none of the people who provoked Qin Yun earlier were golden immortal. The spectators in the sky saw this scene and are filled with fear. They quickly retreated. Someone shouted loudly, "Murder! The disciples of the great sects and families have been killed. Murder!" In the vicinity, there are many disciples of the great powers. Because they are helpless against this divine mountain, they can only follow. Moreover, they don't allow too many people to get close to this divine mountain to cultivate. Hua Tongan's attack revealed formidable golden immortal power. This kind of berserk golden immortal power is rarely seen in the immortal desolate. The disciples of the great powers in the vicinity all flew down one after another. Hua Tongan rushed over and slashed horizontally with his saber. Golden immortal power spread out through the saber energy released by the sacred saber. Immediately, a series of explosions rang out. Hundreds of people who flew over were immediately cut into pieces. Even if they were wearing armor, they still exploded into pieces. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions rang out. A large group of disciples from the great powers died. The spectators in the distance let out a burst of screams, because this is an act of provoking the great powers. Qin Yun took out the soul-sealing pearl and silently collected the remnant souls. "Who are you people? You actually dare to oppose us?" A middle-aged man shouted from the distance. "He is a golden immortal, but he doesn't dare to approach. Hua Tongan, you rush over and kill that guy." Qin Yun finished speaking and shot out a lightning bolt with his lightning lock sacred eye. In the blink of an eye, the lightning lock landed on the middle-aged golden immortal's body and firmly locked him in place. And Hua Tongan, it is as if he transformed into a violent thunderflame. His aura rushed to the sky, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived far away and slashed down with his saber. Boom! Although the middle-aged man was protected by a very strong immortal robe, he was facing the holy blade. Although the immortal robe blocked a portion of the power, it was still penetrated by Hua Tongans' berserk power. At the same time that his body exploded, he was also struck to the ground. Hua Tongan suddenly landed on the ground and stomped down hard. His thighs suddenly turned into dragon claws. Intense and scorching golden immortal dragon power burst out like golden flames, accompanied by a deep dragon roar that roared in all directions. The golden immortal was stomped to death. Qin Yun shouted loudly, "What bullshit, great powers disciple! If you really have the ability, you would have taken down the divine inscription mountain long ago." "You? Who exactly are you?" Even further away, an elder asked. Right now, none of them dared to approach. After Qin Yun let Hua Tongan return, his calm voice echoed in all directions, "I am Qin Yun." After saying that, he brought Xian Yun and Hua Tongan through the barrier released by the mountain defense formation and quickly went up the mountain. After a moment of silence, a burst of exclamations suddenly erupted from the surroundings of the divine mountain. Qin Yun, he is the master of the divine inscription mountain, the guy who tore down 2 altars. He is indeed a ruthless character. Those great powers disciples went to provoke him. Aren't they just courting death? Did you guys see that? That middle-aged man beside him is too powerful. He looks like a dragon. So this is Qin Yun, as expected of someone who tore down 2 altars. What heavenly tiger star, immortal family, devil immortal heavenly gate people are all bullshit in front of him. Shoo, keep your voice down. Everyone is now discussing in astonishment. They did not expect that Qin Yun would not be on the mountain all this time. He has just returned. Qin Yun quickly arrived at the top of the mountain and shouted, "I am back, I am back." "Brother." Xiao Yuemei, who was wearing purple skirt, suddenly jumped down from a tree. She is as mischievous as a monkey. She is wearing purple noble attire. She is charming and pleasant. She also has a bit of charm and noble air. Qin Yun immediately extended his hand, pinched her face, and said with smile, "Little girl, did you miss me? I missed you to death." Xiao Yuemei hugged Qin Yun and said with charming smile. At this time, Xian Yun also took off her veil. "Ah, you are? You are Sister Kiru." Xiao Yuemei saw Xian Yun and yelled in shock, "Sister Kiru, didn't you become a little guy? Didn't you say you were going into seclusion? How did you suddenly become big?" Sister Kiru came here? Qin Yun is somewhat amazed. She is inside that tree. Xiao Yuemei very quickly discovered that Xian Yun is not Xiekru. "Yuemei, this is little Nian Yun, Sister Kiru's little sister. She admires you very much." Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. "Sister Yuemei, I am Xian Yun, nice to meet you." Xian Yun said with sweet smile. "Hello, little Nian Yun." Xiao Yuemei is very happy after figuring it out. She hugged Xian Yun and jumped up and down. "Good little sister, You look exactly the same as Sister Kiru, but you are also not the same. Qin Yun is somewhat amazed. Xie Kiru is actually here. At this time, Shimin Dazhuang walked out while hugging Pippi Pig. He Shu and Bai Zhe also greeted Qin Yun with smile on their faces. Mountain God's head drilled out from his personal large rock and yelled at Qin Yun. Did you see? I've become so powerful now. Ha ha ha. You didn't see my invincible path. Do you feel regretful? What caused Qin Yun to be surprised is that Lu Jiayin is walking over with an old man. He is very familiar with this old man. It is Xiao Hua. To be exact, it is Xiao Hua's puppet avatar. Xiao family's patriarch Xiao Hua is now a member of Inscription Gate. Brother, you are also a golden immortal? Faster than me. I will become a golden immortal very soon. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Inscription Divine Mountain's growth speed is beyond Qin Yun's imagination. Now, it is already a golden immortal divine mountain. As inscription beasts, He Shu and Bai Zhe have already entered golden immortal realm. This is all because the divine mountain provided them with power during its evolution, allowing them to quickly break through. Shimin Dazhuang, Pippi, Xiao Yuanmei, and Lu Jiayin are all 9th level Dao immortals. Qin Yun introduced Hua Tonggan to them. After learning about Hua Tonggan's mystical great dragon golden body, He Shu and Bai Zhe became extremely curious and pestered Hua Tonggan to show them. Hua Tonggan also knows that most of the people here are not ordinary. Xiao Nianyun, I will take you to pick some fruits to eat. Xiao Yuanmei brought along her new little sister and ran down the mountain in a lively manner. Qin Yun and Xiao Hua exchanged greetings and then walked toward the large tree. This tree is very large, and there's a tree hole below it. Qin Yun passed through the tree hole's curtain and entered inside. He saw a cute little girl wearing white skirt. She is sitting on a soft cushion. Her eyes are closed, and she is currently cultivating. Xie Kiru sensed Qin Yun's arrival. She opened her eyes and said with smile, Xiao Yun, you finally came out. Where is Xiao Nianyun? Did things go smoothly in Great Dragon Desolate Domain? Xiao Nianyun went with Yuanmei to play. Qin Yun mischievously laughed, reached out his hand, and rubbed that cute little face. Xiao Yun, quickly tell me about what happened in Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Xie Kiru pouted and said with smile, If I had known earlier, I would not have been so cute. You would always want to pinch my face. Qin Yun laughed, then sat beside Xie Kiru and said, If I don't pinch you now, when you return to your original appearance, I won't be able to pinch you. I will return to my original appearance and let you touch my face just like before, all right? Xie Kiru giggled, gritted her jade-like teeth, and pinched Qin Yun's handsome face. It is not as good as when you were little. When you were little, your face was too tender and cute. This won't do. I will let Yuanmei turn you into a child and let me pinch you. Sister Kiru, I found Immortal Desolate's sacred master. This guy is also a fool. He can become brothers with a mountain god outside. Qin Yun said with smile, then told Xie Kiru about how he met Immortal Desolate's sacred master and how he killed Xie Yang. After Xie Kiru finished listening, she said in shock, Xiao Yun, you killed Xie Yang. This is truly awesome. Back in the days when we were in Divine Desolate, Xie Yang bullied us unbearably. Moreover, for many epochs, Xie Yang has never been destroyed. Wait until I find the last part of the floating cloud, heavenly seal, and the heaven-leaping shuttle. Then we will go to the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range. Qin Yun said. MMM. Xie Kiru nodded and said with smile, Xiao Yun, I have also found a Nether Sun Spirit. She raised her small hand, and her 9 Divine Spirit appeared on her wrist. Is it inside? Qin Yun asked. MMM. I will give it to you. Xie Kiru placed her hand on Qin Yun's 9 Sun Divine Spirit and said, Prepare to receive it. After touching the 9 Divine Spirit, Qin Yun has a very special feeling. Very soon, he sensed a Nether Sun Spirit enter the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. Sister Kiru, there are still 7 Nether Sun Spirits. It will not be easy to find them. Qin Yun said with sigh. No problem, I can find them. Xie Kiru stuck out her tongue and said with smile, Xiao Yun, I want rest. I have consumed a lot of energy to find Nether Sun Spirits. MMM. you properly rest. Qin Yun nodded. Wait for me to rest. I will take little Nyin Yun for a walk. Siekiru said with smile. All right, then I won't disturb you anymore. Qin Yun caressed Siekiru's face and then walked out of the tree hole. During this period of time, Xiao Yuanmei has been greatly respected by Bai Zhe and Xiao Hua because Xiao Yuanmei taught them many runes. The runes inside Xiao Yuanmei's small mirror are a great treasure trove of inscription. Sect Master, I did not expect that the matters inside the Great Dragon Desolate Domain would be so hair-raising. Xiao Hua heard Hua Tong'an talking about many things regarding the Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Qin Yun asked, Old Xiao, did anything big happen in Immortal Desolate during this period of time? 2 Xie sons appeared in the Heavenly Province. Moreover, Nether Sect sent people to support Guanghan Palace. Those bastards from Heavenly Tiger Star have been completely annihilated. Those 2 Xie sons are rather troublesome. Qin Yun said with frown, I hope that idiot Immortal Desolate Sacred Master can think of a way to suppress evil sun race and 9 sun sects. Chapter 1553. Golden Immortal Divine. Fruit Qin Yun indeed had plans to go to the inscription world. He thought for a moment and said, I'm not in a hurry to go. I still have some things to do. All right, Elder Xiao, can you contact the space god you are worshipping? He heard that the space god owed him a debt. That's why he gave him the heaven-leaping shuttle. Therefore, he now wants to contact the space god. One must know that the space god governs the spatial laws of the 9 Desolate. If he could get his help, the star god would no longer need to be sneaky when transporting things. There would also be no other restrictions. The god of the divine desolate transported things from the divine desolate to the lower realms. This set of spatial laws was created by the space god. If he wanted to cheat, there would definitely be no problem at all. It's rather difficult. Sometimes he ignores us. Xiao Hua sighed and said, Sect Master, you want to talk to the space god? Qin Yun nodded. Can I give it a try? That's fine. However, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip to our Xiao family. Xiao Hua laughed and said, That girl Yingying also says that she wants to see you all day. If you come to our Xiao family, you can also meet her. Xiao Yingying's strange illness has been resolved, and because of Qin Yun's help, she has become very healthy and strong. As a grandfather, Xiao Hua is naturally very happy to see his beloved granddaughter recover. Therefore, no matter what Qin Yun's request, as long as he can do it, he will not refuse. All right, I'll make a trip to the Xiao family. Qin Yun said with a smile. Wait a moment, I'll ask Yuanmei if she wants to come with me. Shimin Dezhuang said, Uncle, when are you going to my Shimin family? My Shimin family also worships a god, the god of vigor. Xiao Hua said with a smile. The god of vigor is not as powerful as the space god. Besides, the space god is a very special god, who knows how much higher than the god of vigor. Elder Xiao, I will definitely pass on your words to the Shimin family's elders and the god of vigor. Shimin Dazhuang said in a very bad mood. Feel free to pass on the message. What I said is the truth. Xiao Hua chuckled. Shimin Dazhuang hugged the small pippy pig and looked at Xiao Hua as if he wanted to fart. Keep farting. My puppet body is not afraid of the stench. Xiao Hua laughed. Damned old man Xiao, just you wait. Shimin Dazhuang snorted. Qin Yun suddenly said, Oh, that's right, I got some instant space immortal iron from Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Since all of you are so free, use the instant space immortal iron to refine some talisman paper. I want to make a teleportation talisman so that it will be more convenient for us to travel in the immortal desolate. Teleportation charm? I know this too, Xiao Hua said. I still have 2 in my hands. Qin Yun only had a few pieces left. He took out 250 kilograms of instant space immortal metal and placed it on the ground. Black Rat Bai Zhe was very curious about the instant space immortal metal and hurriedly asked about its specific uses. Qin Yun gave a simple explanation and told them how to refine good talisman paper. Then he told them about the process of making teleportation talismans. As expected of the headmaster, as long as he makes the talisman paper, he can use the mirror to quickly carve the teleportation runes. This is too heaven-defying. After Xiao Hua finished listening, he was very shocked. He also yearned for that mirror. The reason why Qin Yun's mirror can record and carve runes is mainly because of the Gemini heavenly rune. And he still doesn't know how to carve the Gemini heavenly rune. If he wants it, he can only go to Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian. At this time, Xiao Yuanmei and Xian Yinyan arrived. They have picked many fruits. They're eating them while smiling sweetly and walking over. Yuanmei, I want to go to Xiao family. Qin Yin said. All right. I also want to go. I miss Sister Yingying. Xiao Yuanmei arrived beside Qin Yun, handed over a bright red fruit to Qin Yun, and said with smile, Brother, eat this. It is very sweet. Xian Yun also released the white peacock. The white peacock has now become very small. It is flying around in fear because there are two very formidable inscription beasts here. Xian Yun looked at the large tree and said in low voice, Big sister is calling me. I will go first. Xian Yun is now a golden immortal. Xie Karu is calling her to go so that they can synchronize their cultivation. All right, Qin Yun said with smile. Little Nian Yun, your big sister said that she wants to take you to walk around Immortal Desolate and familiarize you with Immortal Desolate. You should follow her for a period of time. Xian Yun took some fruits and entered the tree hole. He Shu stroked his beard and said, We will now begin crafting talisman papers so that Sect Master can make more teleportation talismans. Qin Yun said, Actually, I want to craft a kind of teleportation talisman. It can be used repeatedly, but the difficulty of crafting it is very high. It consumes a lot of materials and requires a lot of time. I will craft teleportation talismans first. Sect Master, teleportation talismans are enough for now. Teleportation talismans are very precious in Immortal Desolate. If we have a lot of them, it will be very convenient. Xiao Hua said with smile. Qin Yun nodded. He is also very afraid of crafting talisman papers. Fortunately, he can hand it over to He Shu and Bai Zhe. He Shu and Bai Zhe, you two stay here and craft talisman papers. When I return, we will join hands and refine a very awesome guy, Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Then he simply explained the matter of the great dragon, sacred cannon, to them. I also want to see how it is refined when the time comes. Xiao Hua is also very much looking forward to it. Uncle, I will go back to Shiman family to steal some materials. Can you also help me make a powerful cannon? Shiman Dazhuang's face is filled with yearning. Mountain God curled his lips and said, Pippy pigs, but is more awesome than any cannon. Why do you still want a cannon? This caused Qin Yun and others to burst into laughter. All right, then let's set off now. Xiao Hua is also very impatient to let Qin Yun go to Xiao family. After all, Qin Yun is their Xiao family's honored guest. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile, I just came back. I will rest for a while and then go. I want to taste the divine fruits here. All right, I will go pick some divine fruits and bring them back for them to eat. Xiao Hua said, Only the first floor is ripe. If a ninth stage, Dao, immortal, eats a few of them, they will become golden immortals. Mountain God said. Qin Yun took out the floating cloud pagoda and entered inside. Xiao Yuanmei also entered and arrived at the 20th floor. Brother, Sister Sharu came here many times before. I gave her many divine fruits to bring back. There are also Nether Sect, Xiao family, Shiman family. We have good relationship with them. I gave them all divine fruits. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Soon after, Xiao Yuanmei informed Qin Yun about the situation. When the divine inscription Divine Mountain was at Dao Immortal rank, divine fruits were also given to Dao Immortals. Xiao Yuanmei gave away many divine fruits because even if they were all plucked, as long as the divine inscription Divine Mountain evolves, it would produce even better divine fruits. During this period of time, Xiao Yuanmei used divine fruits to exchange for many useful ores. They're all very strong immortal stones, holy stones, immortal iron, and so on. In short, these are all things that Mountain God needs to increase his strength. Furthermore, the factions that obtain divine fruits will secretly look for powerful divine mountains and then inform Xiao Yuanmei and others to let Mountain God devour other divine mountains. Oh, that's right. Sister Shuru came here. Did she ask you to tell me anything? Qin Yun asked. She said that the mysterious seed has germinated and requires a great amount of energy to grow. She also said that it is a very dreadful thing. Xiao Yuanmei said. After Qin Yun heard this, he nodded his head in relief. What else did Shuru ask you to tell me? Qin Yun asked. She also said that Sister Yu asked you to make a trip to the moon when you have time. She wants to see you. I don't know what it is. Xiao Yuanmei said with light smile. Brother, did you provoke Sister Yu again? Of course not. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Maybe Yu wants to see me to thank me. That's also possible. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Guanghan Palace also has a star god altar. It was given to her by brother. As the palace master, of course she wants to thank you. Of course. Well, that's right. How is Yuan recently? Qin Yun asked. She came here once. At that time, she brought you Shaoling and Chu Qian with her. They are now a very strong trio. Xiao Yuanmei twirled her ponytails and giggled. Sister Chu Qian was your little wife, but now she is big sisters. Qin Yun curled his lips, ate a divine fruit, and said, Yuanmei, you are still a 9th layer Tao immortal. You ate so many divine fruits, yet you still haven't broken through? This is really strange. That's because divine fruits need a period of time to release energy. Old Mountain's divine fruits are bad at this point. Their effect is rather slow. Xiao Yuanmei lightly sighed and said, Tao immortal level divine fruits are very fast. Now golden immortal level divine fruits need a period of time to completely release their energy. Qin Yun suddenly thought of something, then took out the pill transformation heavenly furnace and said with smile, Yuanmei, do you want to quickly become a golden immortal? Of course I want to. Xiao Yuanmei looked at the pill transformation heavenly furnace and said in low voice, Brother, is there something delicious inside this large water vat? Qin Yun said with mischievous smile, This is not a large water vat. It is a pill transformation heavenly furnace. Throw 2 divine fruits inside. Xiao Yuanmei took out 2 golden immortal divine fruits and placed them inside the pill transformation heavenly furnace. She said with smile, This is actually a pill furnace? So ugly. I also think so, but this thing is very useful. Qin Yun closed the lid and began pouring his golden immortal power into the furnace. After pouring his golden immortal power into the furnace, the 2 divine fruits began transforming into pills. After half an hour, the pill transformation heavenly furnace stopped absorbing Qin Yun's golden immortal power. Qin Yun opened it and saw 2 golden pills floating inside. Yuanmei, eat them and take a look, Qin Yun said. Xiao Yuanmei is somewhat amazed. She looked at the 2 pills and said, How do they turn into pills so quickly? Eat one and give it a try, Qin Yun said. Xiao Yuanmei took 1 pill and began chewing it like she is chewing candy. Her face is filled with sweet smile. Her appearance is very charming. Qin Yun can't help but caress her face. Very sweet, very delicious. Just like candy, Xiao Yuanmei praised. Is there any other reaction? Qin Yun asked. There is. The divine fruit's energy is rampaging inside my body. Xiao Yuanmei looked at the other pill, licked her lips, and said in low voice, Brother, I want to eat more. Let's cultivate first. Qin Yun said with smile, Come, let's cultivate together. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.